The types of accommodations that people like you and others are making for these people are actually incredibly harmful in these environments. The idea that it's funny because
you have any evidence to support that. In fact, I think it goes in the exact opposite direction whenever you bring up studies about accommodating trans people's identities.
Well, deer is not a trans person's identity, so that's not linked to this at all, number one. Okay, number two, the idea, as I was saying before, the idea that we should infinitely accommodate people that have severe mental health issues, that are making suicide attempts and posting suicide notes on Twitter, it seems to me that the more empathetic or caring response to like, hey, you probably shouldn't be here right now, rather than continually validating these people as they engage past their own blocks in the most like toxic ways possible. And the thing is, you don't even have all the context here. You actually thought that you could bring up Anna to impeach my character, or that you could bring up Bad Bunny and Denims, two people that have been abjectly horrible to me for years, as a way to like impeach my character. You don't know because you don't know because you don't know. You have no idea. That's the problem.
I'm not trying to dunk on you, dude.
Are you serious? Bro, you literally bring up 3 personal examples from my life, one of which is a person that I almost have a restraining order against, and you say you're not trying to dunk on me? What are you talking about?
Like counterbullying? I believe the tweet is something like,
kids bully your oppressors.
Yeah.
In response to somebody saying, bro, these are children. Do you think that, like, I'm curious because you're actually, in these tweets, now you're directing people towards real life behavior that you can't just block. You're talking about going into real life and harassing people where they can't just like block you.
I would say that you would agree that there's a situation where political action is necessary, right? In regards to your
for kids? No, not really. No.
For kids? I mean, these were just high school students fighting. I think it was the.
I would consider high school students kids. Yeah, I don't think that I would encourage them to be like harassing each other.
Yeah, sure, but like it's not like a bunch of 6-year-olds and stuff doing that. But that's
so since they're 16, it's okay to encourage them to bully other people for their political differences.
Now, let's go on to the next matchup, now that we're talking about the Wolfpack's rise. It's going to be a Destiny versus ActualJake. What do we expect with that, with this match being 15 minutes away? We actually have an update from ActualJake. He put out a tweet about the debate. If you guys would like to see this tweet quickly. 1 second. Let me see it. The fact that my mod team feels the need to be vigilant tonight as I talk to Destiny about his toxicity for Hippy Dippy is like already a sign his community is bad. Like, look at my mentions and just wow, lol, DGG, man. Thoughts on the tweet?
You know, I think that this tweet kind of shows maybe the mentality that he's going into with this debate. I actually, before the debate, I spent a couple weeks or so, like, kind of researching the whole topic idea and trying to figure out some advice that Jake could have, because I really think Jake does have a shot at beating Destiny here. Let me see if I can share my screen here. I'll show it on my camera. I found this book. It's called Little Monkey Calms Down. And I think it should be very, very helpful for him. Poor little monkey. He's having a tough time. Little monkey feels sad and mad and angry. Calm down, little monkey. It's okay to cry. Calm down, little monkey. Cuddle with your blankie. Calm down, little monkey. Take a deep breath. Calm down, little monkey. Sing a quiet song. Calm down, little monkey. Be still and relax. Feeling better, little monkey. And as you can see, I was able to get some of the, this is a representation of the mod team. Now let's have a fun day. And I think this type of narrative is going to be very, very helpful. And this type of advice is going to be very helpful for Jake going into this debate, because as long as he's able to keep his cool and not just get mad, not just mauled, he might be able to directly address these types of arguments and be able to engage in some type of intellectual discussion.
True. I think one of the questions that we need to ask here, what is scarier in the mind of the online left, DGG or MS-13? I think that's something we need to consider here, because DGG most certainly is an online boogeyman. What do you think, Dan, about?
I can't think right now. Yeah, thanks.
I think Danibo had some really amazing insights there. I think when we compare MS13 versus DGG, I mean, one thing to consider is that DGG calls themselves sometimes the Daliban, right? So, I mean, if we're comparing the two right now with the invasion into Afghanistan, the Daliban, or I guess in this case, the Taliban has gotten so much ground right now and has caused so many issues that I'm not really sure that we can compare the two right now when we're talking about kind of domestic gang of violence with the MS13 versus right now what the Daliban is doing with its own type of invasions online. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for us to evaluate the two. But to some individuals, it might feel like both gangs are just as equally bad, right? Honestly, though, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the judges, what the judges feel, and whether or not they feel that DGG is completely being a boogeyman or whatever, or is completely trolling them, or if DGG is something a lot more nefarious, if DGG is something that's trying to attack people, if DGG is obsessed about individuals, or if they just spend all their time in offline chat debating dumb stuff like incest or like really dumb topics.
We don't want them to violate normal theory. What do you think about this, Loaderbox?
As for DGG, I've been watching Destiny's channel for the past week or two, and I've got this theory that it's actually Kyle Rittenhouse that is playing a big role in the whole DGG Boogeyman thing. Kyle Rittenhouse is basically a content farmer for Destiny. That's my theory now. Like, from everything, from he shot 2 BLM guys, then he went on Tucker Carlson and said that he supports BLM. Everything, like the submit to the mob, that was Kyle Rittenhouse. Every single person on Twitter who said that Kyle Rittenhouse shot black people was actually Kyle Rittenhouse. So I'd be more careful of that. That there's like definitely like some little teeny bopper bedwetters with guns lurking in the corner there. I would be afraid of DGG.
Now the question that still has yet to be answered, specifically, is how is Destiny going to deal with the topic toxicity on Twitch? Destiny, for many people, is a representative of toxicity. He will be representing toxicity in the debate to many people, where there's a lot more information about Destiny out there than there is going to be about ActualJake. There's not going to be many counters. If there was an area to show hypocrisy, even if it does exist, the knowledge that Destiny could have on it is going to be very minimal. He's going to be doing really an uphill effort from the start. So the question is, how is Destiny going to deal with the fact that there's just much more information available about his content and how he conducts himself online, and with how he has generally behaved on a certain bird platform for the last year?
I think he's just going to concede the point and say, look, my audience is larger, it's going to have more toxicity, and then let Jake try and move the conversation from there. I think Destiny will concede out of the gate.
Yeah, I think the biggest strat is going to be trying not to pivot necessarily, but to just kind of say, yeah, I have a bigger community, and to try and get back on the main topic. I mean, we saw it with CTV and Shu, where CTV kind of just went off on a lot of different issues and was just kind of jumping from random topic to random topic, or coming about whatever life story he wanted to talk about in his head, and Shu wasn't really able to kind of rein it all back in. I think Jake is probably going to be throwing out a lot of insults, probably going to be throwing out a lot of, look at this random tweet that your friend's throwing out.
You think he's going to use a CTV strat?
I think it's going to be akin to the CTV strands in the sense that we're going to be seeing a lot of random tweets coming out, a lot of random pictures. Maybe there's going to be some new lore that drops too, who knows? But Destiny's job is going to be having to rein it all the way back in and trying to focus on what matters, which is the actual topic of toxicity on Twitch and how that applies in, I guess, the Twitch politics community.
Well, this is going to be even more difficult considering the judges all voted in favor of the CTV strat in the last debate. Danibo did, the rest of them did. So the question is of whether that strat is going to be able to, if Destiny is going to be able to deal with that strat. And this is something that Destiny's complained about on multiple occasions. He doesn't like when somebody throws a bunch of stuff out there. He likes to hold somebody on one topic and hammer it down. As somebody who's moderated his debates before, this is something he's clearly expressed to me and expressed to other people. So I think a lot of this also might depend upon whether I'm able to properly moderate the debate and make it so it doesn't like have a million topics go out there at once before hammering each one down, and whether or not Destiny could ever put Jake on the back foot by talking about their content, or whether or not it's going to shift from a debate of specific instances Destiny or ActualJake has been involved in to generally, how do you conduct yourself on a platform? How do you moderate your community? Because if it comes into those general conversations, then it's going to be much easier for Destiny than if they talk about his specific instances, because there's just too much dirt on the man publicly.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So,
yes.
Wonderful.
Wow, great contributions from the rest of this family.
I mean, I don't think it's wise to try and imitate a master, especially after you've just witnessed their tactic like 5 minutes ago. The CTV tactic, it looks easy when CTV does it because it's CTV. I would be very careful to try the same thing.
Here's a question, and this is something I've been wondering for a bit. These two don't like each other. They've made it very clear. CTV actually called into a Destiny stream earlier. CTV is somebody who promotes the show. He goes to stream, tries to do it. And during that discussion, at the end of it, CTV says he's rooting for Destiny, right? By the way, so that's a CTV internet celebrity stance on this debate. And Destiny just clearly said, I think he's a dumb fuck. I don't like this person. Fuck him, right? And I know ActualJake also doesn't like Destiny. That's what made making this match so difficult and why we've ended up with such a strange topic. So my question is, how do you think the hatred of each other, this being a grudge match, not a normal match, is going to play into this?
I really hope they don't. Yeah, you go first.
No, you go first.
I really hope they don't go into like meta conversation. I think they both know better. I don't know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just tell the other person they're mad if they try that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the classic strats where individuals just go up to their mic and just yell, are you mad? 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 And I think that strategy might be something that we see here, actually, so believe it or not. I think the question is whether or not Jake has the experience dealing with people who might be, for lack of a better word, big mad, or dealing with individuals who might be coming in with some sort of bias. And being able to try and act in some sort of impartial manner, right? Because the last thing Jake wants to do, as we saw from that little monkey story, is to be angry, is to be upset. If the little monkey gets mad, then how is he ever going to recover?
Daliban, any thoughts?
I think the audience and possibly the commentators may be underestimating Jake here. Jake came from nowhere to win the Hippy Dippy Rumble and challenge Destiny for the title. I don't think he will get big mad. I think he handled himself against a very drunken CTV very well and came out on top there. And I think he's got a shot here, especially with Destiny coming out with the disadvantage on the topic.
Do you think Jake will get angry during this debate and whether that could hinder his performance dealing with somebody who many consider notorious?
Possibly, but if he's smart, he won't. And
Gappy, do you think he will?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Do you think Jake will get angry during this debate and it will impede his performance?
Ooh, I think he will. The question is how he expresses that anger, right? The question is whether or not he expresses it by yelling, by getting mad, or if he just tries to pretend to stay calm, but his arguments start to kind of falter and show some degree of contempt or some degree of just being upset. We're going to have to see what happens here, to be honest.
Okay. And Loner?
I don't know. Destiny said a lot of mad shit in his career. I think there's plenty of things that Jake can easily, calmly ask him questions about. Don't get mad. I mean, I hope the corn outfit will help. You know, focus on your props. Bring a real corn. Bring a few. I think that would be a much more viable strategy.
Okay, wonderful. 1 second. I was just sent a question. 1 moment.
Oh, so your questions are more important than the panel is what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I have to ask questions to keep the panel. We'll just keep talking then, Gabby. Okay, Gabby.
Oh, okay,
Produce content.
Okay.
Produce content, Gabby. Do it. Go, Gabby. Go.
Oh, okay. All right.
No.
Well, you know what content I'm going to produce? I'm going to produce some content using Conflict of Nations World War III, because if you click the link into download or you type !sponsor, it helps support the stream. And if we get 38 more individuals, then we'll hit the first goal, which means I do, in fact, get to eat tonight. If we hit 300 people, I believe Shoe on Head is going to delete her Twitter and endorse Hillary Clinton 2024, which would be pretty fucking poggers for a lot of people. I'm sure many people want to see that happen.
If we hit 300 downloads tonight, Hillary Clinton, Shoe on Head will delete her Twitter. Yes, that is true. Okay.
So that's extremely exciting.
That is very exciting. Now, I'm now going to announce, with 5 minutes, not giving either of them time to prepare for the strategy, whether they hear it or not, I'm going to announce the last stipulation, which has not been announced yet, which is that this will be a cage match. What that specifically means is that at any point during the debate, I'll give them both 2 instances where both Destiny or Jake could just say, cage match. What that means is basically all the rules of Hippy Dippy are gone. I cannot moderate, and they get a 3 to 4 minute period where there's no moderation whatsoever, and they can just go back and forth. They will both get 2 instances for this, which means there's 4 in total. So this is a grudge match and a cage match. Now, how this will assist people, I would like to ask the room. How do you think that will either help or hurt the debaters today?
It really comes down to how heavy the moderation is. If you're going in and you're saying, oh, we got to get back on topic, for example, but Jake is trying to pin Destiny down or vice versa, the cage match card might be able to actually help them there. Just pulling out the C pass might be able to really help them kind of ensure that they're able to get their point out and ultimately communicate to the judges. Because for to be quite honest, nobody gives a shit what Dylan thinks here. We all give a shit about what the judges think.
That is true. There's everyone knows that the judges are impartial, and I cannot impact their decisions whatsoever. Anyway, Loner, what do you think?
Chilling.
Bing
I mean, is TOS going to apply in the cage match?
Of course.
So it's not no holds barred. You're lying, Dylan. I understand you're a businessman, but
Sorry. Anyway, Daliban, what's your thoughts?
His internet cut out. I'll see what's going on with him.
When do I learn when? I think that Jake could possibly use this to his advantage. I don't think Destiny will bother using it. I think Destiny likes moderation and he wants you to step in. We saw it with Infrared versus Destiny, where Destiny kept asking, Dylan, can you moderate? Dylan, can you moderate? And has just kept going.
Yeah, but that's Infrared. Like,
it depends how mad Jake gets. But I don't think he will. I don't think he will. We'll see.
Look, I disagree, because I think if there's anything Destiny likes, it's to hold someone down, right? Not sexually. Well, maybe sexually. I don't know his personal life. But in this debate specifically, Jake isn't somebody that I really know to like just go all out, just yelling and going crazy like Infrared. If there's a cage match period, I think Destiny is going to try to use it specifically because he thinks that Jake is like trying to dodge around something. So Destiny will say it, and then it'll hold him down on it where I can't stop anything from happening, as long as it's not outside of terms of service. Jake, I don't see as many opportunities for Jake to use that to the same advantage. I think the moderation will mostly be helping Jake, definitely considering he doesn't engage the same amount of debates that Destiny does. I think, honestly, this is something that could, I think, equalize this, considering the topic is not in Destiny's favor.
I think one thing we're not really discussing is the element of surprise. We don't really see Jake doing a lot of debates in the sense that Destiny or that other individuals, even like CTV or Shu, does. So I think Jake's kind of going in here with a really strong surprise factor. It's really difficult to predict how he's going to be behaving and what he's going to be coming in with in terms of his rhetoric and his arguments. And that's going to be something that everyone's going to have to adapt to.
Wonderful. Is there any last thoughts on it? We have 2 minutes before we start. So any last thoughts?
I think it's actually a hype video to play, by the way.
Oh yes, I had a hype video to play or something. Gappy?
No.
Oh, okay. So the hype video is more important than me.
Well, I'm asking. I just asked your thoughts.
Well, my thoughts would be, I think this is going to be a lot closer than people are expecting. Just like how the CTV match was a huge expected win for Shu, but it turns out CTV won. It is certainly possible this could go either way, depending on how the debate goes and depending on how the judges go. This is definitely a wacky topic. This is definitely a wacky set of debaters. It's almost wacky as people who haven't been able to finish Bloodborne on stream, despite saying that they would. I think it can be really exciting. I think it's going to be really engaging. And honestly, I think both sides really have a solid shot here.
Got it. Gappy, do you want to interview the winners and losers afterwards, or do you want to leave that to me?
I think I would be more fun doing it, so I'll do it, sure.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. Both of you, can you please leave? Gotta do it. Yep.
Not my fault.
Wonderful. Okay, guys, we gotta play the hype video that Fluff made, a lovely member of our community, okay? I don't know if it's garbage or not, so we're just gonna take a swing at it, okay? We'll start getting everything ready while it's playing, okay? We didn't have enough time to make hype videos super high effort, so hopefully Fluffs comes through, okay? I'll be right back, guys.
Connor, shut the fuck up.
Lord, please, for the love of God. Tale of Twin Rabbits, I'm pretty sure your brain is running on 1995, okay?
Never mind. Connor, fucking, you're clear for takeoff.
It's my life and my history that, yes, I have played like several different instruments of different types in many different places, public venues. I've gotten paid to do it, actually. I have
I'm so randomly curious. What's like the dominant 7 of like the scale of C?
I don't remember.
Okay, so this will be the resurgence. That's a really basic question. If you know anything about music, guys, he said he played jazz. Okay, he should know his dominant 7s. Okay.
As a kid, was a lot like white people vegetables. So when you grow up as a white person in a white family, vegetables suck because they're a part of the meal that you have to suffer through.
Time to eat some cornflakes.
Cancer is one of the most studied things in the world, and it's one of the things we understand the best. Okay. But the problem is, how do you get that many people to stop playing League of Legends? Okay? Can I ask one question real quick about that? In terms of God thing? Yeah. Tristan, do you believe that God knows all things?
Yeah, absolutely. God is omniscient.
Does God know what it feels like to take a dick in the ass?
did at that bar.
Let's try to use more than 10% of our brain for this conversation, okay? If the
Oh
entire
wow! Now you're gonna
Check out Christmas Cup last night. Fake
Oh my
No
god!
one cares. If you're not gonna name a name, then shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Nobody care. Nobody care. I don't care.
Doctors, not like fake Twitch doctors.
Who is he talking
real
to?
doctors.
Wait, who is he talking to right now? Say like you have a limited number of hours you can spend. It sounds really draconian. It sounds probably incompatible with our current U.S. understanding of freedom, but I feel like something should probably be done. Yeah, because it's
3 hours of video games per week would definitely hurt you.
Okay, okay. Let's. Hey. We'll leave it allowed.
Jesus.
We're debating Destiny on Friday. About his responsibility to not be a fucking loser. I would like to now take this opportunity to turn our attention to this beautiful product that we have right here. This is a several millimeters tall.
We've seized the means of production, comrades! And now we're gonna go and watch some stupid YouTube videos.
Let's check it out. And by the way, I'm gonna try really hard not to smoke this joint that I rolled up. And we'll see how far I can go before I just have to. Oh, that's loud.
Hello! What's up, people of the internet? I'm Dave Rubin. This is...
Nope. That's it. Society
You're so smart,
thinks is uncool.
You sucky, what you my dicky VP.
Oh, big
Candy corn is the cancer that we need to cut out of the holiday of Halloween, because I want Americans to have healthcare. I want Americans to have fucking education. I want Americans to have housing and jobs. I want America to have access to food and shelter and water and internet. I want America not to spend their days toiling 40 hours a week. I want America to spend their days following their passions and moving towards what they love in a land that allows you to be whoever you want to be, regardless of race or creed or color or gender or sex or sexuality. I want Americans to wake up every day and to know that if they get sick, their family will be fine and the houses over their heads will go unthreatened.
I want to welcome you both to the Hippy Dippy Championship. I hope tonight we're going to have an interesting interaction.
Sure.
And it is a championship match, meaning whoever wins tonight will be the Hippy Dippy Championship, belt included, everything. And we're going to get straight into it in a moment. Just first want to say that for everybody at home, we are sponsored by Conflict of Nations, World War III. And if you want to support the channel, please scan the QR code that is on the left-hand bottom of the screen and download the game on mobile and play it. It would support the channel a lot. And ActualJake has agreed that he'll burn the corn outfit if we get to 300 downloads. So just something to take into consideration. And Destiny will stop blaming me. So now I'll give you both a small period of time to introduce yourself. We're going to start with the challenger, ActualJake.
Hi, I'm ActualJake. Sometimes I get called corn-gendered by Destiny. That's pretty cute. I do leftist politics on Twitch. We do a little bit of debate panel stuff. I'm usually pretty well known for both the silly corn suit that these people paid for me to be in moments ago, and then also, you know, just for doing lefty stuff. I also have a really nice community. Usually when people stop by, they are impressed by the really chill atmosphere and stuff like that. And that's kind of what we're talking about today is you know, the idea of toxicity and how we manage our communities and any responsibility we might have. And and how I think Destiny is an abject failure in that regard.
Okay. Destiny, you can introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Destiny. I do...
you are muted. 1 second. You're not muted on my end.
I didn't want to talk to you. I wanted to talk to my stream, actually, but I guess I'll talk to you as well. My name is Destiny. I do like center left, far left politics, depending on who you are, or I guess far right, depending on who you are. I've been doing politics on Twitch for a long time, obviously, and here today, I guess we're going to be talking about the different types of toxicity that exists on Twitch and the reasonable amounts that we can control it, and how we should try to control it, and what types of toxicity we should accept versus what types we should reject.
Wonderful. So, what we are doing tonight, there is one stipulation I've told neither of you leading up to this, and that's because, of course, I'm evil and a bastard. And that this tonight, not only, of course, is it a grudge match, because I know both of you are not exactly fans of each other, but it's also a cage match, which that means is that both of you will have the ability twice during tonight's debate to say cage match. And what that'll mean is I will completely disengage for 3 minutes, and I will not moderate whatsoever. You can do this only twice, both of you, meaning there's only 4 available for the whole night. The rest of the rules usually apply, and of course, nothing against terms of service or my usual rules like no misgendering, anything like that, of course.
Sure.
So as long as you're not literally just using the opportunity to say the N-word, cage match applies. So that's the one stipulation that has not been said beforehand to spice it up a little bit. I'm going to allow you both to have short intros of reasonable length. If you start doing essay time, okay, if it's long enough to be its own YouTube video, I'm going to stop you. But you will have short periods of intros. I'm going to let Jake go first since he's the challenger.
Sure. I don't really have much for an intro because I'd rather just get into the topics and start talking. But pretty much, I think it's, if you experience Twitch in any capacity, or even political Twitter, and often political YouTube, you'll find that Destiny and his community are there, and often the reports that come back from that are not, a terribly glowing review. I think DGG and Destiny himself have a pretty well-documented history of being both people and the community itself just a group you don't want to engage with because there's too much bullshit that goes along with it. Like right now, in my mentions on Twitter, and I'm sure at some point during the stream, unless DGG gets smart, I'll have people in here that are going to violate my chat terms. People on Twitter are often a little rabid, a little weird, and I that's not bad in and of itself. The point is that it's very consistent within this community, within specifically DGG, and it's an example of the types of toxicity that these spaces often have to fight against. And where Destiny fails and where DGG fails because of him is because he doesn't offer any sort of like reasonable way to interact with people that don't devolve into kind of yelling and stuff. And I know that there's clicks in that, and I understand that there's sort of the grind of the internet debater to be a certain sort of way, especially in regards to Destiny, who likes to drum up a little controversy now and then. But basically the idea here is Destiny's not a very good person.
Am I getting it?
In general, it just doesn't seem like he fosters a group of people that you'd want to be around, and that's pretty evident by the people that have basically just said, I don't really want to interact with Destiny anymore. So,
okay, Destiny.
Yeah, I guess we'll hop into the back and forth. Yeah, I could respond to everything. I guess to broadly speak, I think that when people identify problems with my community,
are you giving up your intro?
No. I was thinking of an intro, but I didn't want to just respond to all those points. That's essentially back and forth. So let me just give a macro level overview. I think that people have rightly identified that when you engage with me, that there is a large chance of receiving some sort of hate online. I just wish that people would recognize that that door opens both ways, that I am also the recipient of an unbelievable amount of hate. The only difference between me and those other communities is that I, at the very least, take pretty strong stances to stop it in my community. I have received so many times, and unfortunately, I hope it doesn't result in the debate ending this way, but it might sound like Jake just doesn't know any of my policies or how I've dealt with any of these things in the past. But as far as I am aware, I was one of the only people, if not still the only person, that will like enforce cross-platform bans for people that go into other people's chat rooms and harass them, or that will go onto Twitter or other forms of social media and harass people. I'm one of the only streamers that I know of that has that policy on the books. I have like incredibly strict community moderation. I have over 1 million followers between all of my platforms, maybe more than that. Obviously, I can't police every single person, and it's incredibly disheartening to me that when you receive 1 or 2 negative comments on Twitter, all of a sudden my entire community gets impugned because I can't control every single random person that happens to come out and shit on somebody that I argue with. I also think it's pretty disappointing that people oftentimes will levy these criticisms that my community is so toxic, and then either me or my moderators will directly reach out to that person and say, hey, who's being toxic to you, only to receive absolutely no response whatsoever. And the few times that we do receive responses, overwhelmingly it's some random idiot that follows like 2 people that's just on Twitter shitposting. These aren't like long-standing members of my community that are like going into other communities and harassing people. It's always just like the random riffraff that happens to be on Twitter that's going to be there no matter what. So yeah, I mean, we'll get into this. We'll get into the back and forth. I'm excited to talk about how we can hold communities accountable, and I'm very curious why it seems like on the other end these communities are never held accountable, and why there's so many excuses for people that I deal with, but I can't make the very reasonable explanation that like, hey, I can't control every single fuckwad on Twitter that you might or might not happen to engage with.
Right, and I think there's a reasonable level to which you're not culpable in some other person's behavior. Of course, that makes sense, right? I don't think anybody would think that you or any other person can 100% clamp down on any sort of bad behavior. However, the way that you approach it is absolutely retroactive. It is reacting to bad behavior, air quotes. Rather than being proactive and fostering a community that wouldn't even engage in that behavior in general up front. And I know that you're going to make an appeal to your popularity, but there's, like, for instance, Hasan has a pretty humongous community, and it's not known notoriously for the community that you have, right? It's known for having some gamers and some dude bros in there, and he's not always about politics, but it's a pretty chill space, even though it's very hectic with 40,000 concurrent viewers or something like that. But I just don't think that the size of your community tends to matter that much in regards to per capita, like just the vibe and the general fucking nastiness that happens because of places like DGG. But specifically, it's your behavior I want to talk about, and not DGG in general, which only feeds on what you say. And that's the part that is important: is your behavior.
Wait, here, let me respond to some of these things before we do the whole 4 million lines. So first of all, you immediately begin by saying I can't 100% clamp down on bad behavior. That's good. Then you say that the way that you approach it is retroactive.
Like it's reactive.
I understand. I don't know if we have precog somewhere. If we're going to do the Minority Report game, I can't preemptively ban people that are going to be.
Saying? Do you think I'm saying that you should be able to like predict bad behavior?
What other proactive steps could I take besides telling people? Wait, hold on. Wait. Let me just finish my thing. I know you're really excited. Let me just finish. What other proactive steps?
Excited, yeah.
What kind of proactive steps can I take beyond telling people, hey, which I've said 1 million times, and I'm sure even other content creators have heard me say this. Yeah. If I catch you guys harassing people in other communities or going on Twitter and typing transphobic, misogynist, whatever horrible shit, I'm going to ban you in every single community that I have. What other proactive steps can I take?
Well, I mean, not engaging that behavior to begin with.
So what do you mean by engaging in that behavior? Where I encourage my fans to go and harass people, or?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that I encourage my fans to go and harass people?
Do you think you don't encourage your fans to harass people?
I think by asking you, the implication is I don't believe so, which is why I'm asking you to provide me an example. Yeah. Or you don't have to give me an example, a general feeling. Yeah. How do you feel like I encourage my fans to go harass people?
How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was fine.
Yeah. Did you have a good time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So, it's interesting. Just yesterday, you engaged in this exact behavior.
Do you think that me fighting? Do you think that
which is a pretty weird thing? But
to be clear, that other person engaged first. So if you want to say it's weird, that's fine. But you're calling the other person weird as well, which is fine. We're all weird on the online politics world. So one, that person engaged in the behavior first. Secondly, does me responding to somebody or attacking somebody back on Twitter who also attacked me first, does that make me like encouraging my community?
Wait. Do you think this person? Do you think this is an isolated incident in which you were just discussing I will never call anybody by its
pronouns, and then this came up. Do you think this is like the first time that's ever happened, and there's no precedent for anyone to respond, and you weren't just like vague posting, and you didn't expect a response from these types of people? Like, you're genuinely saying like this was an innocent tweet, and I didn't expect anybody to respond negatively, and it's not a form of harassment, even though this has been a topic on your channel pretty loudly and recently with the RGR stuff that just happened. Like, it's clearly you were talking about a topical thing that just occurred. How can you be like, no, ignorantly I was just doing this, and then they responded first?
Yeah, so if this is a more cutthroat debate, I wouldn't follow you down this thing, and I would force you to stick with the singular example that you brought up. So I just want to point out that you gave an example, and the framing was that I attacked somebody on Twitter. I didn't. They attacked me first, and now you want to pull it back to now you want to pull. No, I don't have the exact tweets, but I'm pretty sure they said that I have like a sickness or something, or that I'm sick and that I need to get right. Yeah. Which I don't even think is necessarily that bad. They have the right to say that. That's fine if they want to. However, now you're backing it up to, well, were they responding to like a generalized tweet? I did make a generalized tweet. I said that I won't use its pronouns for trans people. I'll never do that.
Right.
Now, if you think that, do you think? Wait, hold on. Wait, I'm not going to get led all around by you because you're trying to hold my hand through all your doors, right? So my question to you is, do you think that me saying that I won't use its pronouns, do you think that warrants them calling me sick back?
I don't know that it matters in regards to this singular tweet, because you're trying to just strip it of its context. It's pretty obvious that this has been an ongoing dialogue with you. And I'm not just going to talk about this topic, but this is a topic that happened yesterday again.
Sure.
So,
before we get into this, can you
illustrate the type of toxicity that you and your brand perpetuate?
Can I just, because this is how all of these conversations go and they've been fruitless, can I get you to kind of like hone in on an area so that every single time I kind of like back you into a corner, realizing that you're not bringing up a great example, that you can't just like, okay, well, everything you've done is bad. So like, if you want to stick to like one particular area, then that's fine. But like, you can't just...
No. We're going to talk about the
go for it.
General, your attitude, right? Because this is what it's about.
The problem is that in general, your attitude, like,
it's not a problem. It's not a problem. We can absolutely take your personality into context.
Give us a moment. Okay, so
yeah, I'll give you an example.
I've seen the back and like really aggressive back and forth. I just want to make sure people could say their statements before somebody jump in. So I'm gonna have Destiny go for a minute, and then Corn. I'm sorry, just Corn Pop. And then Jake.
You call me either. Okay.
Okay, got it. I just saw the Corn.
Yeah. So so I'm curious when people like bring up like, oh, you engage in a lot of harassment. Okay, well, like, what kind of harassment? So like, do I engage in like, do I shitpost, or do I attack people, or am I toxic or rude to people sometimes? Yeah, absolutely I am, of course. But like, this is usually back and forth. It's very rare that I just go in on somebody out of nowhere, right? I made a tweet saying that I'm not going to use its pronouns. I just don't want to. Now, this other person had me blocked on Twitter, so I didn't think that they would ever even engage with me.
Twitter, come on.
That doesn't change anything. You're not crying about you're not crying about me engaging with you on Twitter, right? So if that person is going to start taking screenshots of my tweets and from behind a block, they're going to say things and accuse me of like having a sickness and like abandoning my Thanksgiving or whatever, then of course I'm going to like rattle them back. Yeah, that's par for the course. Now, if you want to talk about me being toxic or setting some toxic attitude, whatever, that's fine. But like, don't leave all the context out. Don't make it sound like I'm just out of nowhere shitting on this person. That's not the case.
I didn't say you were out of nowhere shitting on person. I literally said the opposite of out of nowhere. I said that this was an ongoing dialogue. What are you talking about?
Okay, well, how do you want to do the ongoing dialogue then? Go for it.
Thanks. Okay, so today, just for instance, you made a joke about me, which hilarious corn content. You said I was going to make a joke about how we eat corn in the Midwest, but I don't know if Jake is a trans vegetable, so I don't want to avoid any accidental death threats, which is a cute thing to say about me, right? That's cute. Okay. That's funny, right? Yeah. But you know what that is in reference to. Like, you only get the joke if you understand the other thing that you're a part of, right? And what would that be?
The conversation. Oh, sorry. I was going to answer. Don't let me interrupt your question with my answer. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I just didn't know if I asked.
Did you want to grandstand some more? Or?
No, I didn't know if I asked the question well.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Because you're not railroading me down to the one answer you want me to give? Because the false answer...
you can give whatever answer you want. What's the real answer? What context do you need for this joke to be actually funny to your audience?
Sure thing. Okay. So the broader context of people that are trying to do these sexual identifications that exist outside of like binary or non-binary, to where they're including things like autism gender or these other types of exotic genders that we're seeing like wiki gender. I think that's what you need to understand the context of that joke.
Do you think that's the context of the joke that you need to think this was funny, and not the death threats that Doe received after you made a funny haha about it identifying as a doe, and then people saying it's like open hunting season. If they want to be a deer, we should be allowed to hunt like in real life. And then Doe said, "Hey, I don't ever do this, but can everyone report this tweet?"
So,
and then that face when you get hate for respecting someone's identity, which is, again, you know, I don't think you would consider that non-toxic behavior, right?
Probably not. That's definitely aggressive. Yeah, we can use toxic if you want. But so one, that wasn't originally my tweet. I amplified it. I retweeted it, but it wasn't an issue in my tweet. I think it was Gammy's tweet. Number one.
What does that have to do with anything?
Number two, and maybe we just come from different areas of the internet. I don't consider like somebody saying like, is it deer hunting season or whatever? I don't consider that to be a death threat. If you want to talk about this as like shit talking or something, then that's fine. But we're in different worlds if that is what you consider a death threat. If it is what you consider a death threat, which is fine. Man, I get tons of those from these communities. Usually anytime I get into a big fight, I usually retweet or I amplify a few because I think they're funny. There were some yesterday. If you need screenshots, I can send them to you about how, what is it? I stand firmly on this. Destiny needs to be killed. Gun him down as he leaves his home, right? People tweet shit like that. I don't even consider these death threats because they're randos on the internet. They're not like reaching out to me. I don't know if they know where I live or anything. If you want to talk about like whether or not,
do you think if say someone said that Destiny should be gunned down and then I retweeted it and tried to make a funny joke about it, do you think that you would be cool with that and you'd just be really calm?
Destiny should be gunned down? Probably not. But if they said something like we need to do do you recognize there's a difference between saying Destiny should be gunned down versus like we need to purge the gamers? Like, you understand
wait. Do you think that the interaction between a trans person and the normal violence that they experience in a day-to-day context is separate from the joke that someone would make about killing Doe because it identifies as something that it doesn't like your sensibilities find it distasteful? Like, do you not find any congruence between the normal trans experience?
So I'm not going to link the normal day-to-day experience of a trans person.
That's really interesting. Why wouldn't you do that?
I was just about to say it. Do you want to keep grandstanding, or can I finish my answer?
I would love for you to finish your answer.
Okay, so I'm not going to link the day-to-day harassment or experience that a trans person receives with an otherkin. I don't think that these are in the same class of things, which is kind of the whole point of everything I've been arguing, which I think Gammy's tweet kind of got towards, right? Like, if you identify as a deer, can it be deer hunting season? Obviously, the concept of identifying as a deer is not only ridiculous, but I'm pretty sure that Doe themselves don't even identify as a deer. They even say, yeah, I'm not an otherkin. I don't identify as a deer. So the idea that that was like a death threat is kind of silly to me. Was it like tasteless or maybe aggressive or toxic? Yeah, sure, you can argue that, sure. But I don't think that like people are seeing it and they're like, oh yeah, like it's deer hunting time, let's go. Like, I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what about the situation where, and we'll move on from this topic shortly after this. So what about the grand dismissal of like suicide attempts and all of this? Do you think that like that's not a toxic thing to do? That's not at all making your audience have less empathy for a person? Do you think that they taking any social cues from you at all? Do you feel no responsibility for anyone seeing something you do that's shitty to another person, and then do you not think that they'll take away that it's also not shitty for them to do it? Or
normally you like to go on after I answer, so I was going to wait for you to finish.
Cute.
Okay, so I get the answer? Okay, so in terms of having empathy for people, I'm not going to sit here and infantilize somebody that is weaponizing their mental health issues to attack or fight with other people on Twitter. So if somebody says that...
On the weaponizing thing?
No, I'd like to finish answering this, right? So if somebody says, for instance, that they like suicide attempted their life and then they post like a huge thing about it on Twitter and then they're back on Twitter like 2 weeks later, like back into the most toxic for your mental place ever. I mean, if they're not taking their mental health seriously, I'm not going to, why should I? Like that's not my responsibility to make those types of accommodations for people. And then I would go one step further. I'm almost done. I would go one step further and I would say that the types of accommodations that people like you and others are making for these people are actually incredibly harmful in these environments. The idea that it's funny because
you have any evidence to support that. In fact, I think it goes in the exact opposite direction whenever you bring up studies about accommodating trans people's identities.
Well, deer is not a trans person's identity, so that's not linked to this at all, number one. Okay. Number two, the idea, as I was saying before, the idea that we should infinitely accommodate people that have severe mental health issues, that are making suicide attempts and posting suicide notes on Twitter, it seems to me that the more empathetic or caring response to like, hey, you probably shouldn't be here right now, rather than continually validating these people as they engage past their own blocks in the most like toxic ways possible across the Twitter spectrum.
You engage past your own blocks.
It is very, I'm not going to like reach out and like actually super ultra harass somebody that's having mental issues if they are, if they've got me blocked. I generally won't do that.
But Okay, but they blocked you. Like in this
They blocked
scenario-
me, but then they started like taking pictures and responding to me, or I think you can even quote tweet through a block or whatever and responding to me. So at that case, and that point, of course, yeah, I'm going to respond. Yeah, obviously.
Okay, so you think it's weaponizing to have a friend say, "Hey, here's the scenario. Just want you guys to know what's going on with me." You think that's weaponizing a suicide attack?
I
Or a
think that
suicide
if you
attempt?
have severe mental health issues and then you get online and you start like attacking other people saying you have a sickness while you're kind of like shielded from that.
was later.
I think,
You're saying that this thing happened later. That where
Wait,
you
no,
have a
wait.
sickness. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
That was yesterday.
And then my
that's
response.
months removed from the moment that you're talking about. So that isn't an answer to the question because you didn't have the context for yesterday when you tweeted it before. So this is the type of behavior I'm talking about.
No, wait. Okay. I don't know which one you're talking about because you keep jumping around from everything. I thought that because you
No,
opened
we're
this.
only
No. You opened this conversation saying, what did you do with Thanksgiving? So I thought we were talking about what happened yesterday. If you want to jump back to tweets before then, I mean, you can show me that. But me mentioning yesterday,
Right, it was
hey,
the context.
why... It's okay. It's not context. It's you constantly pivoting to 20 different topics.
It's not
to try to-
pivoting.
It is. It absolutely
context.
is.
It's the context specifically for why you think certain jokes are funny and having to know, right? This is basically the same thing that people do. Like, oh, you haven't watched every single bit of this content, so you don't
Hold
know.
on. No.
you don't know the
Hold
context
on.
for
Wait.
it. It's
Hold
like,
on. I'm not going to
come
let you frame it that way.
move
That's
on.
not. No. Wait. That's not fair. Okay. If you want to talk
Okay.
about a specific thing, that's fine. It's your problem if every time you try to lean into a specific thing and I push back, you want to jump to another place. Now, if you want to talk about comments
We're
I
not
made months
jumping to
ago,
another place.
if you want to talk about comments I made months ago, that's totally fine. We can bring up those tweets and that interaction. But you specifically started this conversation off saying, "What did you do for Thanksgiving? Let's talk about yesterday." They had me blocked, and they were quote tweeting me through that block. They said that I had a sickness. I said, "How can you say I'm sick when you were the one that tried to kill yourself?" That's what I thought we were talking about right now. Now, if you want to talk back about some other tweets, that's fine. But notice you opened this conversation about yesterday's tweets, and now you want to jump back because you think you'd need context. But it sounds like you just want to criticize the prior tweets, and these current ones don't even matter. So I don't know where you want to take the conversation.
I think they both matter, and one informs the other. But it's not really that relevant to like as far as like where we're gonna go with the conversation. I don't think we need to keep talking about.
Do you
this,
think
but
that people?
it
Yeah, sure.
goes
Okay,
to-
I'm curious.
Go
Let's
ahead.
see if I can ask a couple
Sure.
questions since
Yeah.
you like to remember so much.
Go for it.
Do you think that people that attempt suicide because of severe like mental duress should be engaging on Twitter in political spheres in like combative ways?
First of all, that implies that like only combative like behavior is happening.
No, it doesn't.
Right after. Right. Okay. Sure. So someone that has any sort of suicidal thing, and then is known enough on the internet to feel the need to have like some sort of like announcement, like, "Hey, this is what I'm going through." Like, did you read that thing? It didn't seem like terribly. Like it was just a sad thing that a person went through that I think deserves empathy.
Okay.
And,
if you need me, you're rambling now. If you need me
to.
to restate the question, I can. But go ahead if you want to keep rambling. That's fine. I'll bring you back when you're done. So.
Right. Okay. So I don't think it's necessarily a place for either you or I to determine what is or is not mentally healthy.
You don't think we can? You don't think we can say that if you've attempted suicide because of mental duress, that being in the most toxic parts of online political discourse might be a bad idea? You don't think that neither of us can have an opinion there?
So what interaction do you think was really toxic? Interacting with you?
Interacting with, hold on, is the implication that I am the only toxic person on politics Twitter?
Of course not.
Okay, so do you agree that talking about trans issues in general, because earlier you made the statement that trans people in general experience a lot of hate and aggression in all areas of life. I think we both agree with that. So you didn't think that a trans person going onto Twitter, marketing what are like seem to be like pretty extreme trans views, whether you agree or disagree, we can agree that they're pretty far to the left. Do you think that that's a healthy thing for somebody that has like previously attempted suicide and is experiencing extreme mental duress?
Do you think exacerbating the issue about and like making fun of the person?
You're rambling. I'm going to ask you the question again when you're.
Is that a ramble?
Mm-hmm. Because you're trying to answer my question with a question because you don't want to answer it because you know what the answer is. The answer is no, they probably shouldn't be. But I'll let you keep going if you want.
Well, okay, we can steelman it. You could say sure that they shouldn't do that. That's fine. I'm fine with that answer if that's what you think. Now I don't know what anyone's particular cope is going to be post a traumatic event like that, right? Like it's not for me to say. We could probably agree that Twitter probably doesn't offer many good avenues if you're going to engage in that stuff, but you're acting like it was like the moment that happened that someone was just like going in and having a bunch of debate bro moments when really that wasn't happening. You you said basically like it was attention-seeking behavior and that it was really gross and it is disgusting. And then do you think that if someone has a mental health issue that you are helping or harming just from an ethical standpoint by being incredibly negative about them and saying that their suicide attempt is specifically for attention-seeking things, or like
it's potentially harmful, but I don't think that it's my responsibility to take care of somebody else's mental health on a platform.
Is that what I'm asking you to do?
Yes. When you're the implication. Really? Sure. Yeah, I can walk you through it. So the implication you say, are you helping or hurting? It seems like you want to provide some level of condemnation for me hurting another person's.
Neutral.
Okay, I don't think either of us are going to take the neutral path. No, Vaush is not here right now, okay? So it sounds like you want to say that, like, hey, if you're hurting somebody's mental health, that's bad. I don't believe I have an obligation to other people's mental health on Twitter because there's a block function. If somebody wants to block me, as long as I'm not, like, directing harassment, like telling fans go blah, 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 if they don't want to interact with me, it's super easy to just block me. You can do that on Twitter and then boom.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time you've directed harassment at somebody, would it?
I mean, if directing harassment means just arguing with somebody, man, you've directed a whole bunch my way. All of you guys have directed a bunch my way.
Well,
so, I mean, none of our hands are clean there. I mean.
Well, do you think that that's what I mean? And also, let's just go back to the other thing real quick and then we'll move on.
Wherever you feel strongest.
Yeah, man. Do you think that you not engaging in sort of the negative aspect of and the toxic behavior of saying like, oh, your suicide attempt and your note is just for like attention. Do you think that that's you just not being culpable to someone's mental health, or do you think that's you actively negatively harming someone's mental health?
If they choose to engage with my public messages about it, that's on them. They have no obligation to read anything I'm saying. There's no reason for them if they don't want to. Like, you can literally just block a person and move on. If anything, I would argue that people like you that are amplifying my messages and making a big deal about it are increasing the likelihood of that other person reading it and being harmed by it. But I mean, that's again, if you're having like a severe mental health crisis and you find that you're, trying to commit suicide, then like posting notes on Twitter and then engaging in the most toxic platform on the internet for politics is a behavior that all of us should probably say.
Really, the platform though that was the toxic aspect, was it?
Yeah, it is. Twitter is a toxic platform.
And why?
Because the platform itself, with small character limits and supercharged issues, lends itself towards like pretty toxic discussions.
And the people there.
I mean, we're humans on Earth, so everything we interact with is going to have a people element, unless we're talking about falling into volcanoes.
And I would say, without reservation, that your specific interactions were the most toxic, and your community's interactions were the most toxic aspects of that interaction on Twitter in whole.
You think I'm the most toxic person on Twitter for this person?
No, in that interaction.
In one interaction, was I the more toxic part? Yeah, that's possible. But again, Twitter is
so you agree that that's possible. Do you think it's reasonable or ethical for you to engage in potentially very toxic behavior in general? Is that a good thing?
I wouldn't say it's necessarily a good thing, but I have a right to engage with the platforms I want, as long as I'm not breaking, I guess, any laws or whatever, right? Then, yeah.
So laws are good because they're laws, or laws are good because they're ethical sometimes? Like, what does that mean?
I don't believe that any person, I can explain if I don't know why if you want to get into an ethics conversation, we can, but I don't think that people have an obligation. I'm repeating this for the third time now, so try to keep up. I don't think that people have an obligation when they're engaging with somebody on a social media platform to be aware and endearing to their mental health issues. If you have something that requires...
That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you not to be the opposite of that.
No, I have a right to be as much of an asshole or a
dick
or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Of course you have the right to be an asshole to people. I'm asking you if you think that's an ethically good position to have.
I don't think I would make an ethical statement on whether you want to be a dick to somebody or be nice to somebody. That's just not like a...
do you think that you're toxic in general?
In general? Like holistically? I don't think so. Absolutely not.
Like your presence on the internet?
No, I definitely don't think so.
Okay. Now, your stance on this has changed a little bit. What personal responsibility do you think a streamer has in regards to their own like community and the way that they put out toxicity in the world? Or is it just your opening statements? Do you have anything else to say on that?
I mean, I think in general, I think that we have some obligation to hopefully make sure that our community carries forward the values that we have, and then to engage with people in, I guess, like reasonable ways to where you're taking at least like the base level reasonable precautions, or maybe even additional ones to make sure that your community isn't like being weaponized to just attack and harass somebody else. Like you guys have used your communities against me.
Sure. And you said that you argue that it's a little bit more unethical for me to amplify you because I think that you're toxic, right?
Not necessarily. That was I said in one specific example that like if I'm being toxic towards somebody else and you're saying that toxicity is bad, the only way that person can see it is if everybody's running around showing it to them. Like they don't have any obligation to interact with me on Twitter tweeting about them. That just seems kind of...
Do you think people interact because of obligation? Like you keep using the term obligation as if our social interactions are, I don't know, like above that. Like,
well, because you're making it sound, because you're making the mistake of assuming that if I say something mean to somebody on Twitter, they necessarily have to engage with it. Mean or toxic or aggressive.
We're talking about mean. We're talking about specifically toxicity. Do you have like a definition for toxicity that you'd?
No, I don't think any of us do. That's going to be like a subjective. You can define it if you want. What do you think toxicity is?
Well, I mean, it can be a lot of things, but I think it's particularly like insidious and damaging behavior, right? I mean, you could and I guess there's subjectivity to that, but I'm just saying like
you're saying being mean to somebody, basically, right? Yeah, I guess I agree. It's like
I think
being really mean, maybe,
or being really mean, sure, sure, but being mean to the point of like that person might actually experience a level of harm that like just being mean and bancy isn't what we're talking about, right? Like when you made the creamed corn shit, that you could say, if I was very sensitive about that, it'd be mean, I guess. But like, I don't think I'm going to have a mental health.
Why can't you just? Why can't you just use the tools on the platform? Why can't you just block the person and move on?
I guess it's just really interesting that you think just simply block it. Like it's like that Tyler the Creator tweet where it's like you can't get internet bullied, just log off, bro.
Well, but for things like Twitter,
obviously that's not true.
Well, no, for Twitter that absolutely is true. You could
it's not really true because then someone would have to blockchain your entire fan base, because every time someone interacts with you in a negative way, your fan base just fucking descends on them and they say some of the most rancid shit ever.
Yeah, I agree. So listen to what you just said. Every time somebody interacts with me in a negative way, why not just stop interacting with me? It's pretty easy. Just block me, move on, and then
that's what we're talking about. Because
but this person didn't. This person didn't, right? There are plenty of people, and I actually, now, if you want to talk about proactive, I've been proactive, and that I've just been auto-blocking like all of you guys when I see this shit on Twitter, because I don't want to get into these interactions anymore, because it's just, honestly, it's exhausting, and there's not much point, and I receive a fuck ton of harassment back from you guys, and you know what I do? When I see it, I just block it.
What do you think? Wait, have I harassed you specifically? Do you think
your community has? Yeah, of course.
What do you think is harassment? When they disagree with you?
When your moderator,
really
so like when your moderator is like reaching out and trying to sabotage like my canvassing efforts and stuff, I would say that that's a greater level of harassment than anything I've ever done. The Sushi Mom person?
Sushi? Oh, she's not a moderator.
Oh, okay. Members of your community then.
I actually kicked her out because she was toxic. So
Oh, nice. Good job. Too bad you didn't do that a little earlier, I guess. Should have been a little bit more proactive, I guess, huh?
About you. Well, yeah, specifically, I think it's important to understand that is something that you don't tolerate, right? Yeah, I think that's a good thing. So, did you have any questions for me before I just asked you more stuff? You can.
I don't even know if you were able to answer anyway. So do we agree that if people are having like severe mental health issues, they probably should just log off of Twitter? They probably shouldn't be using that platform until they've figured that stuff out in their real life. They don't have a need to do that.
It really depends on what that is. Like, especially if your apparatus of friendships and stuff happens to be a lot online, which a lot of trans people do find community online because it's really hard to get physical.
Yeah, so I'm going to run down on all of these because you're talking in circles, because I think you realize that there's an answer, right? So when you say depends on what that is, I'll be clear. Let's say you've attempted to kill yourself because of like the mental duress that you get on online interactions, okay? Do you think that you should still be on Twitter? And then you also said you have an apparatus of friendships. Do you have to be publicly tweeting to access that? You could just private your account and use Twitter groups or like Twitter DMs. There's no need to be publicly engaging in political debate in order to access that friendship. So
when did the political debate begin after this? Like, you're making it sound like it was like...
So you're going to ramble, then I'm going to bring you back to the question again, but go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, specifically, you keep framing it as... Right, you keep framing it as suicide attempt into immediate political discourse on Twitter, which isn't the case.
Okay, so do you think that if somebody attempts to kill themselves, right, because of extreme mental duress, because of stuff they've dealt with online, do you think that that person should jump back into the Twitter arena and get
See, that's
back
right there.
involved?
That's the part. That's the part that you just won't like you're not hearing me or something. Like where they just jump back in. It makes it implies again a very specific, rapid, like re-entrenchment into the Twitter wars. Like it's just weird stuff. But we can move on. Are we good?
No, I'm gonna keep asking the question until you answer it. So, do you think that somebody that has attempted to kill themselves because of the extreme mental duress that they've experienced online, right? Do you think that in a week or two they should jump back in and be back into that arena of debating people online?
Do I think in like a week or two? I don't know. Maybe they can. It seems like the person that we are talking about, that I'm trying very hard not to talk about anymore, is in fact doing just fine and okay right now. Like there's always going to be some harm done, and there's always going to be different ways people deal with things. But I don't think that you can tell one specific person, okay, this is the timetable on when you get to do politics again, my friend. Like, I definitely agree that there is an aspect of like, you could be self-harming or whatever, but I'm not asking you to manage someone's mental health. That's never
so
what I
if you're
said.
not asking me to make a judgment call,
specifically-
so if you're not asking me to make a judgment call on whether somebody's ready to be back or not, how am I supposed to know what level of toxicity I can engage with that doesn't endanger their mental health?
The fact that you think that there are reasonable levels of toxicity that you get to engage in is the problem that I'm talking about. Like,
so is this whole argument just you want me to be
regular
nice?
toxic, that'll be fine.
Okay, so do we want to reframe this whole argument? Do you just want me to be nice to people on Twitter? Is that what you want?
Nice to people? No. I'm not asking you specifically to be nice to anybody. I'm asking you if you think that it's ethical behavior for you to be toxic, and your outlook on toxicity in general was just pretty openly said right there. You said, well, how toxic can I be? As if you are just like vibrating and wanting to be toxic. You can't have an interaction without being toxic. Like, it took us a long time to even have a one-on-one conversation because you don't want to for some reason.
We're
like,
rambling again, yeah. So I've always wanted to have a one-on-one conversation. You're the one that has like
ramble, bro.
because you're really nervous about answering these particular questions, right? So
what question?
The question.
I answered the question already.
Well, you're making this.
I said we could steel man it. I gave you two. I gave you the first one. I gave you was we could steel man it and say absolutely. You don't get to. But then I said that you exacerbated the problem. That's the point I'm making. Not that you're supposed to do anything. You could have, just like they could have blocked you, just like anybody could have blocked you and just left it alone. Instead, what you could have done, knowing that this person is going through mental anguish, didn't have to exacerbate the problem. You could.
I don't have
chosen
do you think I have an obligation to do that?
I'm not saying you have an obligation. I'm saying
then why are you impugning me? Wait, hold on.
Path.
No.
Because you chose.
Wait. That's not what we're here for. No, wait, hold on. We're not here to say.
That's what we're here for.
No, we're not here.
That's what I'm here for.
You're here to just give me things that I could have done without any moral compulsion behind all of them. That's what we're here for.
No, I'm telling you what? I'm telling you the ethical compulsion.
Yeah, okay, yes, that's what I just asked you then. I'm asking you. You just said ethical compulsion. And before this, I asked you, do you think I have a moral compulsion not to attack somebody on Twitter? Yeah.
I'm asking you what level of ethics that you wanted to apply to this, and you chose the absolute worst one.
I said none. I said I don't have an obligation. Kind of like earlier when you said that like I don't have the ability to decide what?
Instead of ethical responses instead of compulsions.
Well, an ethical responsibility is like a moral compulsion. It's a behavior you ought to exhibit.
Response, not responsibility.
Okay, I don't know where we're going. I'm just trying to figure out, like,
ask you,
sure. Also, just as an aside, Sushi Mom is still a mod in your chat. I just checked, but
no, she's not. What are you talking about? I unmodded her and she got mad about it.
Oh, okay. Maybe there's another Sushi Mom 10.
She might still be in the community. Might be in chat.
Okay, she's literally listed as a moderator in your chat, but that's fine. Whatever. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is my...
I don't think so.
You can type in / mods in your chat, and it literally says the moderators of the channel are, and it shows her right before Xanderus, right after Holly Hoomst. But you also still follow her on Twitter as well. But whatever, I don't care.
I follow lots of people on Twitter. What are you talking about?
That's fine. That's cool. So
I just think it's funny, man. I don't know.
I can tell. Okay, so my question is what level of like moral compulsion do I have when or ethical, whatever you want to call it, right?
Sure.
Do I need to act good when I'm on Twitter towards other people? Is that something that ethically I should be concerned about? I have to act in a good way. Yeah.
I think, well, I mean, I do think that people ought to act good. Do you think people ought to act good?
Okay. Let me ask you again. Okay, I don't know why you're trying to pivot again. So I'm
Well,
asking you: do you think that do you think that you need to, or you have a moral obligation to, or an ethical obligation to, act good to people on like social media platforms, on Twitter? And if you don't do that, it's like a moral failing. Do you think you need to do that? That's like a moral compulsion or an ethical compulsion. You have to act good to people on Twitter.
I'm not saying that you have to act good to people on Twitter specifically.
I'm not talking about on Twitter. Wait, why are you trying to broaden it to other platforms? It's a very easy question.
Right, I said people ought to act good.
Okay, so if you don't act good towards people on Twitter, this is like a bad thing. Like you should avoid doing it.
Now you're saying on Twitter again. So are we on?
Well,
so
because
just in
this is
general,
what this whole conversation.
What you're saying on Twitter.
Well, the whole conversation is about Twitter,
Well,
and if I say
Twitter.
in general, I don't know if you're going to like broaden this to like include jaywalking or something.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Twitter.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'm talking about your broader platform.
No, I don't want to go to broader platform because again, it lets you pivot to like these other weird areas. I'm just trying to be very specific.
I'm not pivoting anywhere. I'm saying in general, your behavior specifically and the behavior of every content creator. This debate isn't about Twitter ethics specifically. This debate is about specifically a streamer and their obligation in regards to toxicity in their communities, right?
Okay. Do you want to move on from this Twitter thing? Do you want to move on from the Twitter thing then?
I was going to, but you wanted to go back to it.
Gotcha. I'll just make my final statement on it then, okay? I think that Twitter provides enough tools. If you want to, you can block people if you want. You don't have to engage with somebody if you want in a public manner on Twitter. I think that there are certain types of behavior that are reprehensible. So like, for instance, like doxing somebody or like threatening somebody's life or directing your community saying, go harass this person. These are types of behaviors that I think you should avoid. However, I don't think anybody has an obligation to be nice to people on Twitter. So much the same way, I'm just making my ending statement because then we'll move on. You want to make your statement and then we can move on. Okay, I'll give you the last one, right? I don't think much the same way that I'm not going to tell you, don't ever be mean to me on Twitter. If you're being really mean to me, I can just block you and move on. I don't have to read what you're saying, right? It's as simple as that. If somebody thinks that I'm mean or toxic, then they can either one, not engage with me, and then two, the more extreme, not engage or ever even talk about or to me. It's as easy as that, and then move on. I don't think anybody has a moral obligation to be nice to people on social media platforms. And if they do, holy hell, every single one of the communities that I engage with has failed at least as hard as I have, if not worse. So
sure. So do you not think, and this is what I was saying, like in regards to how your community reacts to things, if from behind a block you find a screenshot of something, or you talk about it on your stream or whatever, and you say some pretty fucked up stuff, in my opinion, you could think it's just bants or whatever, and then your community, what cues do you think the community takes from your behavior? In like, do you think that they're not going to do anything? Like, because you must know, everybody else knows. So I'm just wondering, do you know that when you tweet or when you say shitty things about people, like, you know that your community is going to take that to them, right?
I think that anytime any of us,
right?
Sorry, you're doing the thing where after you have me answer, you like say something else to grandstand. So I'll give you an opportunity to do that again if you need to. Are you good? Okay.
Yeah, buddy.
So anytime you engage in a public platform with political messages, you're opening yourself up to other people critiquing those political messages.
Do you think it's a critique?
I don't think. Yeah, I would. I think they are critiques. I think that when you start making public political statements, or if you start attacking other people in a public manner, then of course you open yourself up to that political backlash. Okay. I do it every single time I tweet publicly. Every other person does it when they tweet publicly.
So do you ever just attack people just for no reason, or do you always think it's a critique?
I mean, I'm sure there are people that I have attacked. I mean, it depends on, what do you mean?
Right. I mean, in the way that you frame it, do you think that you just only do it when you're critiquing somebody, or do you think sometimes you're just an asshole?
I'm sure there are times when I'm just an asshole too.
Right. Okay, good.
But again, as I said earlier, I don't think we have an obligation to be nice on social media to people. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, wow, you're an asshole, so that means you're a bad person.
Nope, it's not about being nice. It's about being actively toxic. Actively toxic.
Yeah, but you said earlier,
you are the one that chooses. You are the one that chooses your action, right? Someone can interact with you, and they can disagree with you, and you could disagree with them in a way that doesn't come across as toxic. However, you choose very regularly to engage in pretty much abject toxicity.
Yeah, I think we all do on Twitter, for sure. You included, of course.
To what degree, though, is really the question.
Well, to what degree? It's all highly subjective. I don't know. I mean, how do you measure one thing?
Objectively speaking, most people agree on the internet that have engaged with you or your community that you have a very bad and toxic community.
You understand that's...
And if people specifically get on your bad side, you tend to be much more incredibly toxic towards them.
You've just described every single political community on the internet. Do you not realize that?
That's not really true.
Which political community do you think that that's not unique to? Just one.
So
I'm so
many.
curious. Just name one then. I'm so curious. There's so many. Just give me one.
Name one community that if you were particularly toxic.
Yeah, if you get into a fight with them, then your community doesn't like strike back against you. This is
what do you think? Wait. What's this? So we're not talking about two fandoms clashing and having arguments in a Twitter thing. We're talking about specifically your toxicity and then how.
Yeah, but the issue with this conversation is you're making it sound like my community is unique in its toxicity. That's why you're singling me out.
Your community is unique in its toxicity.
So what I just countered with is I said every single online political community is incredibly toxic when you get into disagreements.
Every single online community has aspects of toxicity. Not every single community has the notorious reputation that your community has.
Can you give me like an example size or like somebody that's comparable in my size that has like this, glistening example of...
Well, yeah, again, I would say that Vaush and Hasan, while both have aspects of toxicity and toxic events in their histories, that they don't nearly have the notorious reputation that DGG does, specifically.
Okay, you understand that when you name Vaush, you're naming like probably the one other person that's as hated as me in most leftist communities.
And I would
like you understand that there are actually bots.
I named him on purpose.
Well, okay, but why would you name him on purpose when it helps my argument? It's helping my argument.
It doesn't help your argument because
it does.
Even Vaush's community that has even Vaush's community with the reputation it does not have as low a reputation as your community.
You're absolutely wrong. It just depends on who you talk to. It is. Vaush's community was literally trying to... Vaush's community was literally trying to get fucking Riley disbarred after the fucking Doe debate. How are you going to say that is like a lower level or a higher level than what my community does? Are you serious?
Your girlfriend wanted to get one of your exes fucking fired from her job. What are you talking about?
Wait, what?
What? What do you mean? There's logs of Melina literally saying, "Hey, we should get this bitch fucking fired from her job." In the analogs?
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna give you like 5 seconds to walk that back, or you're walking into a whole world where you actually lost so hard. Do you really want to go down that road?
We don't have to go down that road if you're uncomfortable with
I would like to, because it's an easy string of W's for me because you have no, hold on. What it goes to show is you have no idea what you're talking about, okay? So the other person that I was involved with is somebody that has been stalking and harassing me and my friends.
I know that you say that, and hey.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what part of that do you think is not true?
Well, specifically, I don't think anything isn't necessarily untrue here. What I am saying is how you engaged in that kind of behavior goes to show that even privately you have this very toxic behavior.
Wait, whoa, hold on. You're so out of, not even close to being remotely on point here, okay? So Riley disagreed with Doe over public sex shit, I guess. I haven't even gotten to this point yet, right? And Vaush's community, from that disagreement, has tried. Now, I'll be nice because you're not. I'll be intellectually honest here. Okay. Demon Mama was liking tweets saying thank you for giving me the Maryland info or whatever. I don't believe Vaush was, but I don't know, and I'm not gonna give him that credit, so I don't actually know. But at the very least, I know that Vaush's and Demon Mama's community was trying to like actively communicate with the Maryland bar to see if they could get her to prevent her from becoming an attorney, okay? The person that I'm dealing with is in my private life, has been stalking me, harassing me, messaging multiple people, and I have tried every single avenue to get this person to quit, and one of the only recourse I had left was potentially contacting their school to see if they would want to talk with them. How do you think that these two situations are comparable?
They don't have to be comparable to like in exactly.
But you compared them. I didn't say they had to be exactly 1-to-1. That's why I asked you, how are they comparable?
How are they comparable in going after someone's employment?
Do you think that wait, hold on. I can't let you walk away because you said something that was so obviously stupid, okay? If somebody rapes a child, do you think you should be able to go after their employment as a babysitter?
What the fuck? Wait, do you think...
When you're done laughing and pivoting, I'm going to ask you that question again. Go ahead.
You cannot be actually asking in good faith if a child rape scenario is akin to what you experience.
I never said it was akin. Why are you saying it has to be 1-to-1? I'm not saying that. But you're making it sound like there's never a valid...
Why would you use the most extreme example? This is like
I'm using an extreme example.
Dude.
Hold on. You can get upset.
So fucking slimy, bro. God, that's gross. Okay, now... I'm not going to talk about child rape with you. I'm
Okay,
good.
yeah. So the response was you saying a statement like, "Isn't it going after somebody's job?" You made it
Right.
sound as though it's never permissible to go after somebody's job. Obviously, there are times where it's okay to go after somebody's job. That is obviously the case. So my question was do
Right.
you think the situations with Riley and my personal situation are comparable, such that both of these people are on the same level of they should lose their jobs or whatever?
Both on the same level of they should lose their job. I don't think either scenario requires necessarily any sort of harassment, but that's not what the point is. The
What
point
a
is your
what a straight
hypocrisy on it.
requires any sort of harassment. Those are just the most non-answer ever. We can move on to the next thing you want. Well, fuck, I don't know if I should because I keep letting you like walk around into walls, but I should like actually force you to like sit and stare at one for a couple minutes. Sure. So
I mean, we can go down this, but it gets into really personal shit that we don't really need.
Well, but you brought it up, and it's a total
your
like
personal shit, not mine. It's up to you.
But you brought it up, so obviously you wanted to talk about it, right? But now I think you realize you don't know what you're talking about. So we're gonna follow this one for a little bit, okay? Yeah. So do you think that contacting the Maryland bar and saying, "Hey, this person needs to not work for you guys
after saying publicly several times that this person was a pedophile, yeah, I think there's a.
I'm gonna do a personal thing. We're gonna
bail.
Cage match. Do you think that it is and did they actually say this person is a pedophile, or did they say they're making arguments that can be utilized by pedophiles? Which one of those?
Well, both, but I don't really think, because you said you didn't watch it, but it is both. There doesn't. I don't know when we're talking about this specifically.
Because you brought it up. You brought up my thing, so go ahead.
Right. Oh, he's leaving. Oh God. There he goes. Okay, so there's some difference in the way that the person was portrayed. Specifically, I guess the big difference is the way that you brought up this other person was against their will and really sharing private stuff that didn't need to be said, and the other one was a public debate that they both agreed to. You know what I mean? Do you not think that's
so? Do you think that if you, I'm not following the comparison exactly.
Well, I guess this is just a broader topic in regards to your treatment of people, but specifically, you have quite the interesting history with being toxic towards women. And I thought,
okay, wait, let's not pivot away from, because I know so this is to point out for the audience and the judges, right? So this is a trend for this conversation, every conversation, okay? What happens is it starts with a particular critique, and then when I try to hone in on that particular critique, it always broadens to everything else. And sometimes I'll let somebody sometimes I'll let people walk me around, but I would just like to point out that like I'm letting you, like I'm holding your hand and we're walking through the pumpkin patch as you go from one scarecrow to the next, right? You're stepping on rakes, smack yourself in the face, okay? So I just want to be clear, right? If you want to get off the comparison between RJR and Doe and my personal situation with somebody that's a stalker, okay, that I might have to get a fucking restraining order against, okay? If you want to make those comparisons, that's fine. Now, if you want to run away from those comparisons and point to my broader history in general with women, which by the way is overwhelmingly positive. I know that you've only seen a few negative interactions online, but I have plenty of positive interactions with women. We can go to that debate next if you want. I'm just pointing out that you're walking away from every single specific example that you bring up. So go ahead.
We can have plenty of good interactions with women and still be toxic in general towards women. I don't know what the. Yeah,
sure. Do you want to quantify that then in terms of like toxic in general towards women?
Like a number on it, or can we just say that whenever you have a situation in which, and it's not just women, it's everybody, but specifically women, you tend to have a problem with like just harassment campaigns. Like attacking people. Like you specifically said in those logs, I attack Bad Bunny and Denim specifically because fuck them. Like that kind of shit. Like that's your mentality. And do
you think that I only attack Bad Bunny and Denim because fuck them? Is that one line where you're going to ignore the entire history that I have with these two people? Just so you know, you're wandering into like another huge minefield that you obviously don't know anything about.
It's really not that big of a minefield.
Yeah, okay, sure. Well, which one do you want to tackle with first? You want to tackle Denims or do you want to tackle Bad Bunny?
Do we have to tackle either of them? And
you brought them up. So let me just
pause quick. Yeah? Pause quick. Okay.
Second cage match. I get two.
Burning them.
You brought up two examples, okay, to impeach my character. So I would
but we could do more that you didn't try to fuck.
I don't know what the implication is, but
well, no,
I know we all know the implication is. So again,
but I think that specifically was because it was like relationshipy stuff. So
okay, I just on a macro level, I was excited to have this conversation because you always say like such broad, stupid shit about me on Twitter, and I thought it would be interesting to have a
stupid thing I've said about you on Twitter.
Like the fact that I'd be a Republican next election cycle, like stupid shit like
that
this,
was a joke. I'm sorry we can't.
Oh, that was a joke. But me saying, I don't like them because fuck them, that wasn't a joke. That was super.
Do you want my actual take on this? Do you want my
No, not really, because you're not going to give me any, right? So my issue was
what I just offered you. What are you talking about?
My issue is that you always like speak in such. Everybody always has these broad things, and I'm like, wow, I get to confront somebody on like actual harassment issues with my community. Right. Maybe it'll be an interesting conversation. I'm not even here to like wonder. I'm actually curious. Like, what are things you think that I could do to better my community, better my behavior? But instead, it's always like this leaping from scenario to scenario to scenario. And the thing is, you don't even have all the context here. You actually thought that you could bring up Anna to impeach my character, or that you could bring up Bad Bunny and Denims, two people that have been abjectly horrible to me for years as a way to like impeach my character. You don't know because you don't know because you don't know. You have no idea. That's the problem. But if you want, again, now when I say if you want to go down these roads, you can, because I am fully justified in hating both of these people, and they both hate me, and they wouldn't even deny that. They go, yeah, he hates me for good reasons, and I say, yeah, I hate them for good reasons. Absolutely.
I really disagree.
Really, with which one?
With the part where you said that they would think it's reasonable for the way that you interact with them.
In terms of me hating them, absolutely, sure. But which one do you think is? Which one do you think? Where do you want to go? Which direction?
I don't want to drag up either of their personal.
Then why did you bring both of them up to try to get like easy points in a debate, and then imply that like I try to fuck every woman I talk? Why would you bring these up for like?
Well, I didn't say you tried to fuck every woman you talk to.
What was the last?
We can talk about people you don't try to fuck.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
Which is fine, by the way. I think promiscuity is good.
Okay, well, it kind of sounded like you brought it up earlier as like a quick dunk, but so who would you like to talk about?
Well, it's because of the specific way that you interact with these types of people, right?
Sure, give me a specific. What is it specific? Because every single specific example, Anna, Bad Bunny, and then Marwa, you ran away from all of these. So I'm curious, what is one you actually want to stick on?
Well, I think we could just try, hopefully, to not involve super personal stuff about other people while still talking about the topic.
You don't get to, yeah, that's fine. We can do that, but you can't take the moral high ground there when you're the one that brought you brought all of these up.
Believe me, I've talked to some people. It's fine. So, like,
I'm sure you have. Yeah, go ahead. It's my life, so I've lived it, so I have a pretty good understanding of what happens. Well, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's their life too. So, specifically in regards to the way that you handle, like, I guess a good example of this would be just like continuing to go in on someone like Denims. In regards to the entire debacle when there was like the meetup and shit like that, like why go after that? Why do something like that?
Typically when I go after that, it's because we're arguing about something, we're disagreeing with something. So
because I'm getting because fuck them.
Okay, what is like an unfair attack you think I've made towards Denims? We argued over the Richard Wolff stuff. Sometimes I make fun of her political commentary. Like what?
Okay.
Oof, that was another one you brought up that you didn't know anything about. That's pretty awkward, but hopefully you got something else.
No. I'm talking about in general the way that the community reacts to these people.
Oh man,
right?
No, in general, that word is doing a lot of lifting there. That in general word.
I'm really doing a lot. Okay. I have these things, but I'm trying not to throw people under the bus. So,
wait, hold on. Do you understand how ridiculous it is from my position? You're trying to make it sound like you have all this dirt on me, but you're too scared to bring it up. Like, how am I supposed to even respond to this? Like, you don't. I know my life pretty well. Yeah.
Do you think it's bad in general, like on Twitter again, to talk about sexual harassment in jokey ways and think that like it's funny for other people to get sexually harassed?
That's so vague. I don't know. I'd have to know what you're referring to.
Okay. It was a rape joke that you said on Twitter.
Okay. How long ago?
Okay.
I don't
know. Do you think that's funny? It's not.
It could be. I don't know. I would have to read the joke.
Okay, it was like this year or last year, but
okay.
So that's reason enough. So what I'm
what was the joke? Are you hold on? Fuck.
What I'm seeing here. Hold on. Do you think it's okay?
I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see if you're reading a notepad or you're just reading your chat. I'm trying to look at the reflection of your glasses. Are you just trying to get things from your chat right now? Like, here's Destiny's meanest tweets.
My chat's on this side.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Okay. So, do you think it's okay if someone has harassed you for you to use sexually harassing language at people?
It depends on what kind of harassment. Or it depends on, I don't know.
How does it depend on what kind of harassment?
Because when you
Does
say
sexual harassment have a contingency, dude?
I don't consider it depends on like what you're saying. Like sexual harassment can be everything from like I touched somebody inappropriately at work to saying something like I think you have a small dick. I don't know. Like both of those can be sexual harassment. Like I don't know what you want me to say. Like when you speak in such vague terms, like do you think it's okay to ever make a sexual harassment joke? Like literally every fucking comedian, every fucking Twitter person, every Twitch streamer has done this all the time. Like I don't know what you want me to say to that.
This is what I'm talking about, right? I'm like. It seems like you do have a pretty clear notion of like, well, yeah, I'm willing to say some fucked up shit. It just depends on if the other person made me big mad first. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the point that I'm trying to talk about.
It's not.
Why
this is
that
like
okay?
openly stated. This is my openly stated position. I will match somebody's energy. Right? If somebody wants to come at me and they want to get real personal, then yeah. What's up?
Do you think that's a match?
So today's sponsor is Conflict of Nations.
Is that what you're trying to get to?
Please scan the fuck me. Scan the QR code. And, never mind. Just continue. I give up.
So
I give up.
In regards to
you get fired.
I guess just in general, like it seems like you're not matching people's energy. First of all, like people aren't coming to you and sexually harassing you, and then you saying like it's okay.
Absolutely, people sexually harass me. Somebody from the like.
Well, that's not sure.
Wait, hold on. Well, now if you want to give some examples, right? So when I was doing the canvassing stuff, one of the people that called me from like these combined lefty communities literally was talking about like, oh, do you want to touch my dicky wiki or whatever? But it was really creepy. So I absolutely do get sexually harassed.
Wait, I didn't say you don't ever get sexually harassed. That's not what I said.
Okay,
I said
that it sounded similar to like what you were saying. That was a Hasan viewer as well. But go ahead.
Cool. What I'm saying is you admitted weirdly, and I just disagree with this, that there is an acceptable level of sexual harassment that you can like dish out to somebody if they do it first or something. Like, why is that good? What do you not think that exacerbates the toxicity, and because of your platform and the numbers you have behind you, do you not think that that's a bad thing for you to engage in?
Yeah. So let me
from an ethical perspective, because that's what the point is.
So here's what's happening in this conversation. Okay, I don't know what you're trying to say we should or shouldn't do. So earlier I tried to ask you, do you think we have some ethical obligation to be nice on Twitter? And it sounded like you said you don't have an obligation to, but I think I'm not sure. Now you're asking me like, is there some acceptable level of sexual harassment that you can engage in if somebody else like sexually harasses you first? I mean, it depends on the jokes, but I mean, I would say, yeah, it depends, right? So for instance, again, because it's fucking Twitter, it's social media, it's what people do. If somebody would have tweeted at me like, hey, Destiny, you have a small dick, and then I tweet back, oh yeah, well, your dick's even smaller. Yeah, I don't think that that's like the worst thing in the world.
Do you think that we're talking about like tiny pee-pee jokes?
That's a form of sexual harassment. What type of jokes are we talking about? You can give me examples if you want to say like, oh, like is this acceptable or not? And I could talk about whether I think it's acceptable or not. But if you're going to speak in vague generalities, I'm going to try to give you examples. Sure. Like what do you define as sexual harassment? How about that?
What do I define as sexual harassment? Well, no, I would agree that like tiny pee-pee jokes are sexual harassment, but I think we also agree, socially speaking, that we're not there yet insofar as like
okay, so then do you agree that do you think that tiny pee-pee jokes can be okay sometimes, or do you think those are always bad?
I mean, just like any other thing, it's sort of like socially dependent on who we're talking to, right?
Okay,
like
so then just to be clear, hold on, wait, no, without you pivoting away. So then you agree with my statement earlier. You tried to impeach me by saying you think there's some form of acceptable sexual harassment. You do. You agree there is, right? Can you say that you agree there's some form of acceptable sexual harassment?
Can you agree that there's some forms of like not good ways to sexually harass people?
Yeah, of course. So do you agree that there are good ways? Do you think there are good ways?
Of course.
Okay, cool. So we're in the same boat. All right.
We're not on the same boat.
What's the next
because
part?
One of us employs them in a different way, right? Like if you have bants, if you and I are hanging out and we have bants, right? And you're like, oh, bro, your dick's small, right? Like this isn't like that big of a deal. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the broader forms of harassment in general. And then
I don't think I broadly encourage sexual harassment against people.
Sure. Okay, that's fine. I'm glad that you don't. Right?
Okay.
But would you say that you open up the doors for people to sexually harass other people when you go really, really hard at them?
So am I just not allowed to go hard at people that go hard on me because I have a larger fan base?
When you go hard at people, things that happen are you dehumanize them often. You call them subhuman. Like with Big Joel, for instance, is a good example of something like this. Like he disagreed with you pretty calmly. You end up showing up in my chat and getting pretty mad.
So
about
to be
it.
clear, he didn't just disagree with me calmly. After we had a conversation about stealing defensive property, he went on Twitter.
Thread.
Yeah, he went on Twitter and he said he was the one that actually got sexist first, right? Misogynistic, incredibly. He went on Twitter. Now you might not know this because he deleted the tweets and you don't have the full background, but what he said was...
You like to delete the tweets too.
because people spam report my shit, but you can find anything I've ever said online because there's a million people screenshotting everything. Don't worry, I don't hide from my past, okay? So what Big Joel did was he went on Twitter afterwards and he was saying shit like, you know, Destiny talking about defending his property sounds like a man that's scared of like losing his girlfriend to go and fuck another guy. And every time I hear Destiny talk, he has that energy where it's like...
I agree that wasn't something he should have said, but...
Yeah, it's really, really, really weird. So yeah, of course, after that, of course I'm going to strike back, yeah.
Right, and then it's like the subhuman garbage shit. And then you said he was just like a piece of shit, and you had a conversation with Vaush about it, and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, do you not think that you have like a problem in regards to how you deal with that kind of stuff?
Are you just saying that I shouldn't be... Hold on, I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. Are you saying that I shouldn't be mean to people? Can you just say that if that's what you want? Did you just say, I don't think you should be mean to people, Destiny?
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay,
because
what are you saying?
It's the type of meanness that you often have in your community, right?
Okay, subhuman piece of shit is like, that's like a pretty broad,
again,
like, there's no ableism there, there's no sexism, there's no racism, it's just like a general, like, oh, you're a subhuman piece of shit.
Subhuman piece of shit. Yeah, I guess.
If you want, you can send me like a list of insults that you think I should use instead. I'm trying to get off of using like autistic and retarded.
List of insults, dude.
What is it about then? Because nobody knows what you're talking about right now. That's the problem. I don't think anybody has any idea. Or maybe I'm the only one missing it. I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do. Do you just want me to be nice to everybody or not be mean to everybody?
No, did I say that?
No, I don't know what you're saying. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
So I guess we can go back and I can ask you again, right? Because I asked if you think you have any sort of like ethical, you called it compulsion
or responsibility, and I said no.
Or responsibility. I think it'd be. You don't think there's any ethical responsibility for you instead of taking the aggressive, shitty route, because you often do. Do you think that that you have any ethical obligation or
aggressive
desire?
Do I have an ethical obligation to not be aggressive or shit? No, I don't think I have an ethical obligation to chill. Can you state that? Can you state that in the positive now? Do you believe that you have an ethical obligation to be chill on Twitter?
I think you have an ethical obligation not to be abjectly shitty to people. In general.
Okay, that's not what we're talking about, because that's now you're into
it is what I'm talking about.
What does it mean? What does that? Okay, what does that mean then? Define it.
What is being terrible? Okay, so a
objectively
great
shitty, yeah.
Okay, not exacerbating someone's mental health crisis. You know, that's a great example of that first one.
Do you think that other people that retweet me or amplify my harmful messages to this other person, do you think that they're exacerbating somebody's mental health crisis?
What do you mean?
So let's say that I tweet, and let's say that only my followers see it and they like it or whatever, and then that's it, right? Do you think that other people then that amplify my message all over the internet and they spam retweet it and they spam say, Desi's horrible, blah, 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 do you think that those people are engaged in an act that's harmful towards somebody else's mental health?
That's just such a really weird thing for you to say if you... Like, you retweeted Lauren Southern, right? So you'd have to agree that that's
you're rambling. I'm going to re-ask you the question again, so go ahead.
So if I retweet your bad thing, but you endorse Lauren Southern's good thing because you agree with her on Kyle Rittenhouse, like, do you not see what's? You seem confused.
Yeah, keep walking.
So I say that you're shitty for sending out doe hunting retweets, right? Mm-hmm. And then you retweet someone like Lauren Southern, a known white nationalist, but she hasn't been a really big white nationalist for a couple weeks or something.
For for a few years. But yeah, go ahead.
It's not been a few years. You debated her this year on stuff.
On being a white nationalist?
Specifically January 6th, and you debated her on immigration in like 2017. You debate like
2017. So, wait, hold on. Do you notice how? So I just want to point out again, right? Well, when you realize you don't have an argument, you see how you jump, because we were specifically saying like this year, and then you jump back and you're like, remember 2017, right? Do you see what you're doing?
You also debated her this year on vaccine mandates and stuff too.
Okay, hold on. I mean, so you brought up vaccine mandates, January 6th, and immigration. What did any of this have to do with white nationalism?
Well, January 6th, I think, definitely does, and it shows that she supports the January 6th stuff.
What does January 6th have to do with white nationalism?
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. I'm curious. Walk me through it. What does January 6th do to white nationalism?
Wait, you don't think there's a? I feel like the Venn diagram between those who did January 6th stuff and are white nationalists is pretty much a circle, right?
The Venn diagram between the people that showed up on January 6th and the people who drank water is probably a circle. But I'm asking, what did January 6th have to do with white nationalism?
That's just such a wild question. What? The white nationalist insurrectionists tried to storm the Capitol because they didn't like the outcome of an election?
You think the majority of the people there were white nationalists?
They certainly were a lot of them.
What does a lot mean? Like 2% or like 51%?
I would say, I mean, it's pretty, like when you just look at the roster of people that were arrested and that are on the books, like all of them have links.
How many people were arrested out of all the people that were there? We're talking about hundreds versus thousands. Yeah, so, okay. So to be clear, in January 6th, I don't think that those people were all white nationalists. A lot of them were just mad Trump voters that thought the election was stolen, right? I don't know why you're calling them white nationalists.
Sure, and you don't think there's any link between white nationalism and January 6th, though? Like, just enough to, we can just disregard it. Like, it's not a white nationalist.
We're not arguing whether or not there's a link there.
We're at the head of that.
Yeah, so there wasn't, I don't think there were people at like the head of that directing the whole thing.
Okay,
and the FBI agreed with my assertion, but go ahead.
Okay, do you think that white nationalists agree or disagree with January 6th? Like, insofar, like, do they support it, or do they
probably support it? I imagine there's a lot of people.
That's not surprising, and I agree with that.
But saying that a group of people,
Lauren Southern with strong white nationalist ties also agrees with it. And now you are endorsing her.
Do you think that people agreeing with something means that that thing that they agree with also agrees with the people agreeing with them? Like, do you think that X group supporting some event means that that event supports X group, or is that group?
Do I think that the January 6th insurrectionists support
No, hold on. We're going to use all our brain here,
Yes.
okay? We're working hypotheticals now, right? So my question is, if X group supports some event, does that mean that that event is necessarily like wholly supportive of X group?
Is that what I'm saying?
Yes. That was what
you think.
were
I think it's necessarily supportive of that group.
You made the, you said,
that's what I'm saying.
Well, if there are other parts of your argument, you haven't laid them out yet, but you said, do white nationalists support January 6th? And I said, yeah, probably. And you said, well, there you go. That's not an argument for anything. I'm sure there's tons of different groups. Evangelicals probably supported January 6th. White people in like rural. Okay. I don't have any more cage matches. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
So you got me.
We have to bring it back to the original. Now, how integral is the Lauren Southern point to toxicity on Twitch? Or can we bring it back?
I guess we won't know until he gets back into a corner again. So
sometimes, well, it's integral because of the.
It's integral.
So retweet in defense of Lauren Southern, which is
I don't retweet in defense of Lauren Southern. I never did that, but go ahead.
Wait, we retweeted recently what she just said about the Kyle Rittenhouse thing because you agree with her.
Because I agreed with that video. Yeah, I thought it was. Do you think that if I retweet somebody, it's a wholesale endorsement of every part of their character?
Do I think that you, Destiny specifically, retweeting Lauren Southern is bad? Yes.
Okay. Why did you take over my question and change it? Wait, what?
Because that's what I feel about it. It's not like whatever your framing is of it. It's, I think that in the context of your content creation, the way that you curate your community and the way that you often exacerbate problems in your community.
All of these things, by the way, which you failed to demonstrate through all of your examples, but go ahead.
Sure, I guess, but you're just no matter what examples I give you,
it's frustrating, right? When you have to actually bring up a specific and you realize all of them are indefensible. Trust me, I know how frustrating that is because I have to deal with them on the other end where people like you will bring it up in generalities all the time. And then when I try to say, well, what about this or that or that? You're like, well, I don't know. But then you still walk away thinking the same thing that you thought at the beginning of this debate. It's frustrating as fuck.
Sure. When you're a person on that streams as much as you do, right? There's going to be a large log of like a large backlog of content that you have to parse through in order to get to your toxic behavior, right? The thing is that people on Twitch and on YouTube and on Twitter, I mean, they know you for toxicity, and I don't know. You realize though that the perception of people outside of your community is one of negativity towards you, regardless of whether or not they tend to agree with you politically or not, right?
Yeah. Do you think does it bother you? Does it bother you at all that you have such a strong conception of the types of harassment that me or my community engages in, but it seems like you can't think of any examples? Do you ever think that maybe you're like falling victim a little bit to kind of like the group think that you don't actually have any examples and maybe like, oh, well, hating Destiny is popular and that's just kind of what people do in this community?
So do you not think that it's a bad thing for you, who has been, you've been vocally anti-leftist a lot, which is, a thing you can do, right? You do that a lot, and with the context of that,
Wouldn't that have been a great topic, punching left.
you have gotten, because this sort of incorporates that a little bit. You have gotten a reputation on the right for starting to be someone that they like to watch.
That's awesome. If I could like take people from the right and like try to convert them into more moderate positions, that's literally how I got my start. Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be what's happening. What seems to be happening is you seem to be taking liberals and making them, or well, not really making them, I guess, but convincing them to agree with certain aspects of right-wing thought.
No, not at all. What I am taking are socialists and communists and getting them to agree with ideas related to liberalism. That's generally what I'm doing. Yeah. If you have some evidence that you think large portion of my fan base is being converted further to the right, I'd be interested to see it. But I mean, like, I see the emails that I get, I see how my community interacts with things.
So the evidence for that kind of thing will be something that you reject, because it'll be tweets of people, it'll be comments and people, it'll be examples of chat, and you'll be like, and you can just go like, oh, well, that's a portion of my community that's not the intended effect. I'm trying to, I like to IP ban people.
So do you think it's impossible to get if you think it's impossible to get a general feel for how a community is, then why are you accusing me of what my community is?
I'm not saying it's impossible to get a general
Then
feel.
who do you think is like best in the position to understand the direction their community might be leaning? Do you think it's going to be the people that argue with me from the left? Don't you think all of them necessarily are going to assume that my community is going far right, because my whole community is probably farther right than most socialists or communists on the internet? Why would I trust their evaluation of my community?
What do you think your evaluation is of your community? Like, if you had to say, like, my community shows like this level of toxicity, where do you think your community is in regards to the internet political spectrum as far as toxicity and what you put out into the
I'm incredibly proud of my community. I think my community is one of the least toxic. Yes, I absolutely am. I think my community is one of the least toxic communities, given the size that it is, that exists on the internet. You can smile all you want, but you haven't made your case at all for any of the arguments you brought up. You tried to bring up other people that supported my argument. You brought up Hasan. I gave you one example of a member of his communicating with me, sexually harassing me on stream, and another guy that tried to get my whole canvassing shit thrown out. I've given you examples of an ex-mod of yours that you lied about demodding, who was still a moderator of yours.
I didn't lie about
I've given you examples of your own example. Your own example, Vaush, that you brought up, is actually so hated by people on the left. There are other leftist subreddits that have bots that spam anti-Vaush messages. Right? So when it comes to a community of my size, I think that they do a pretty good job. I've got a huge, healthy trans community. I've got a lot of cis women, and I've got a lot of men, and I've got a lot of people that do like a bunch of crazy shit in my community. I'm really proud of all the things that they've done.
We're doing identity politics about it? Seems interesting.
Okay, the first whole part of this conversation was related to identity, but okay. So yeah, I am pretty proud of my community in terms of events. Like, if you can find me other communities that have like 5,000 or 10,000 like active people, like you're not going to be able to find one where nobody harasses someone on Twitter, where no one says anything. That's just not possible. I regulate. Yeah, go ahead. You can what?
We can absolutely just like, as people that engage in the internet with you, we can absolutely say like, oh, my general experience with this group or this group is better or worse, right? And routinely, if people are asked about you, like, it just doesn't.
You say routinely, but it depends on who you ask. If you go and ask other,
you can ask most people.
Yeah, most people in your friend group.
Members of.
Hey, take a step outside.
That aren't subscribed to you.
If you take a step outside so if I were to go and ask all the left-leaning content creators, yeah, they'd probably have really negative things to say. But there's a lot of like center-ish or liberal-leaning people where I can ask, and they probably have much better. If I were to ask somebody like Bastia, or if I were to ask somebody like Aristocracy, or maybe even fucking Chud Logic, if I were to ask some of these people, they'd probably have better things to say than the far left-leaning content creators that I get into far more aggressive battles with, like Demon Mama or Vaush. But that's like the nature of online communities. How can you act so ignorant of this? You must know this, right?
Do you think that has to be the nature of internet activity, though?
It has, and we go back to the very first thing I said where I asked you, can you give me a single large political community that isn't seen as toxic by the other side? Like, it's ironic that you come to me with this argument because the left-leaning community online was so toxic that for the first time in U.S. politics history, a presidential candidate running the primary, Bernie, had to come out and actually disavow how toxic the left was online. That was a mainstream political figure that did it. And you're trying to say like, oh, well, no, these communities can be nice and these communities, what are you talking about, dude? This is like par for the course for online politics.
I just disagree that it has to be par for the course for this stuff, and you exacerbate the problem by engaging in the negative behavior.
Yeah. So again, you're I don't know if you just don't understand or if you don't understand what you're doing. So you just hold on. So your response to that was, I disagree that this is what it has to be. I'm not telling you how it has to be. I'm telling you how it is. Every online community is toxic.
Right, but it only is that way because you choose to engage in it that way.
My argument was that
you are a big problem with that.
Yeah, but you haven't demonstrated that. And my counter argument was that I take more proactive steps in my community, whether we're talking about my Discord, which has a huge trans community. And I'm pretty sure some trans moderators that run that, okay? We can talk about, like, you can cringe all you want. Hasan literally shut his Discord down because it was so fucking toxic, okay? We can talk about my subreddit, which is like the largest online streamer subreddit in all the entire streamer communities. We can talk about my unique chat that I've made that I was like, right? You can say congrats, but your entire argument has been trying to impugn my community. And I think that my community has a stellar record. Yeah, there are some assholes on Twitter, but I ban them when I see them.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but look at what happens when I talk to those people. They can't give me any examples. All you can find is me being mean on Twitter.
Because the examples in general, you hand wave every single time.
I don't. You're the one that backed. What example did I hand wave in this conversation?
You hand wave specifically, like the dough stuff specifically again. Like we started out with that, and you're like, they engaged with me first. Like I'm being engaged. It's actually
you're talking about my behavior. So you're talking.
Like, come on,
I'm gonna bring you back as soon as you're done.
I just don't understand how it's not unreasonable for you. Like what?
I'm about to re-ask the question as soon as you're finished. But go ahead.
Well, go ahead and say what you're going to say.
Sure. So my question was examples of my community, but notice how you pivoted to an argument that I personally had. I'm asking you.
Well, your community in general just keeps going after that, right? And then those people are locked in conversations with DGG forever.
Wait, how are you locked in a conversation? Can't you just block somebody? Who's forcing you to respond?
Dude, when it comes to Twitter specifically, but even on Twitch right now, like you get DGGers that come into chat and they're going to be like, and they say toxic shit.
You don't think? Do you think every leftist community does it to mine as well? You realize that everybody does this. You're not unique there.
It's about it's not about that they go into other chats at all and say anything. It's about how it happens. And DGG specifically has notorious track records for this.
Yeah, like, but the notorious track record is that it's literally like ISIS. Like people treat it like this. But then when I say like, well, what are some examples of this? Nobody has anything. It's a message that people like you. What you're giving me is a problem. You're giving me this problem. You're saying DGG has this reputation. I agree it does, but it's because of people like you that perpetuate it. You go around on the internet acting toxic yourself.
So if I didn't say that you do bad stuff, bad stuff would stop happening.
The thing is, what is the bad stuff? That's what I'm asking. Like the thing is that like you don't have a concept, and I'm telling you as somebody who's been on the internet longer than you have, you don't know what it's like to be target harassed by a community. If you think that my community, you absolutely don't. If you think that my community target harasses someone, you have no idea. I'm telling you how life works. Okay, that if Peterson's
whole fucking fan base came after me after I made my book,
and I'm sure for the one day that lasted, it was very hard for you.
One day, it was like a fucking year, dude. What are you talking about?
You're just wrong, okay? Because if that was the case, I have over 1 million followers on my platforms, okay? If I was to target one person, if I was to target, well, that's part of the conversation, isn't it? Right? You're the size of my fan base, right? If I was to target one person,
not shitty with your popularity.
We're not talking about being not shitty. You don't have a moral obligation to be not shitty. You just said that earlier. That we're not talking about me being not mean. That's what you're making it sound like.
Nope. That's not what I said.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, if we ever do a round 2 on this debate, it sucks that you didn't actually bring examples. If you can bring examples of people that are engaged in widespread like harassment in my community that I don't do anything about, I would love to see it. Because by the way, you can go and talk to people, even people like Doe that I fucking hate, and I know they fucking hate me. You can even ask them, has anybody in Destiny's community ever reached out to you in DMs? You can ask D-Mom as well and said, hey, is somebody from this community harassing you? Or give us the names of the people. And you know what? When we get those names, we ban them. Most of the time, we get no fucking response at all because even they realize that like, oh shit, like, well, I guess it was a person with like 0 followers on Twitter who just made that account and all of their tweets are like just transphobic horrible shit. And of course these people are going to jump onto every argument. And then where this argument leads to is people like you with these widespread perceptions that my community like do all these horrible things and you can't bring up an example. And then people like Natalis,
you specifically speculated openly on stream about her gender as if she didn't think about it enough. Cage match.
Cage match. Okay, you like people like Maddycakes are even encouraged to invent threats. She literally fabricated DMs for my community. That's how hard it was to get harassed by my community. I battled with Maddycakes like crazy, and she got so little harassment she had to make it up on Twitter. She faked the fucking Twitter threads.
It's a bad thing? Do you not think it's a bad thing or toxic at all to speculate openly about someone's transness?
How is this relevant to what we were just talking about?
What do you mean? You said that ask Demon Mama about harassment, and this isn't a specific example that she gave me about your community, in which you openly speculated about her gender being valid or not, and then she received harassment from your community specifically.
Sounds like she should have responded. She should have responded back to me with names of people that did, and we would have banned them because we
also respond to your abuse.
Wait, hold on, because I don't know.
You started that.
No, I didn't. She called into question Riley's transness. She called into question Riley's transness by saying, "You know, Riley, it sounds like you're trying to make excuses for being trans." That was Demon Mama that opened that line of attack against Riley, and I thought that was a really weird question coming from Demon Mama, given how poor her understanding was of like everything going on in that conversation.
Do you think? Do you think that that's akin to you openly speculating on her validity? Why would?
Wait, do you not think that that's an attack on the validity of somebody's experience of being trans? To say like, hey, Riley,
any more context for that? But even so, do you think? So you think that
if you don't have the context for this conversation, why are you trying to bring this up again as an example?
Do you think it was not cool? Let's steel man it. Let's say Demon Mama did in fact speculate on the validity of RGR's transness. Do you think that's a good or a bad thing?
I mean, it depends on the conversation.
Does it? You just said this conversation that you're talking about. You said it was it a shitty thing to do?
No, you're misunderstanding.
No, it's not. Was it a shitty thing for her to do that to RGR?
What I'm saying is that
you agree that it's a shitty thing for her to do it to RGR, and then you fucking do it right away, thinking, that's your comeuppance, bro. Then like you can't stand and say that you don't do unethical, shitty things.
It's not about
That's literally you saying that's shitty. I'll do it too. Fire with fire, bitch.
Okay, so my statements aren't whether or not it's shitty or not. It's that if somebody opens the door for a particular type of discussion, then of course I'm going to step in and have that discussion.
Was that open door to you, or do you think so? It would have been okay.
They're having a public debate on a public platform. So yeah, it invites public people to step into the conversation.
So now it's public, and now it's okay to be really shitty to somebody, even though
it's not about being really shitty. Why do you keep mischaracterizing that? It's not about being really shitty. It's that Demon Mama specifically said, Riley, it sounds like you're trying to justify your existence as a trans person. And my weird thing was that during that conversation, Riley was asking
on her validity, though. How is that speculating on someone's validity? That seems like someone just saying, "Hey, it sounds like you're trying to cope about this." It doesn't seem
cope about your sexual identity, or you don't think that that's an attack on the validity of somebody? Can you repeat that for me? I just want to hear that again. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd love to go into it a little more.
No, play back. Yeah.
So you saying and openly speculating on whether or not someone is validly
No, play back
trans
the other thing where you were saying that like
It's not the same thing. Is not the same thing as someone going, "Hey, do you think you're handling this in a healthy manner?"
I'm not here to babysit other people's mental.
Two different statements being said. Demon Mama is saying one thing.
What do you think Demon Mama is saying?
Experience.
Yeah. Talk about what Demon
experience. Demon Mama. It sounds like Demon Mama is saying, and I think she would probably agree to some extent, at least in part. But I didn't watch this part of the conversation. But from what you're saying specifically, just that quote, right? That quote sounds like someone saying, "Hey, the trans experience is a interesting and tough thing to deal with." It sounds like the way that you are going about this is a cope in regards to like the.
You don't think calling your sexual identity a cope?
No, not the sexual identity a cope. The way that you're interacting with somebody else about the broad conversation.
About justifying your sex. When you say it sounds like you're trying to justify your existence, you don't think that's
what I'm saying. I didn't say that.
That's what Demon Mama said to RGR. You don't think that you're saying that like it sounds like
what's the exact quote that Demon Mama used? But either way, it doesn't matter because
it kind of does matter because now you're making it sound like your response would be different.
Okay. Let's say Demon Mama said that 100%. Do you agree that's bad or good? Right?
It's not about it being bad or good. It just depends. No, because I don't view it as being bad or good. It's just it's a conversation topic about a social issue. She's opening that door for that conversation topic. So of course other people are going to step in.
That door was not open to you to speculate on someone's gender.
It's a public conversation. Do you agree that public debates invite public conversation? in public speculation and public commentary?
Do you think that that was commentary?
Well, okay, let me try this again. Do you agree that a public debate invites public commentary? Do you think that when you have a public debate with somebody that you're inviting some level of like public speculation, commentary, critique?
Do you think you have any responsibility to like...
I'm going to repeat the question again, so let me know when you're done.
You're just going to repeat it?
Because I would like an answer, yeah. I've let you do most of the like walking around in this, but I'd like to hold your feet to the fire.
It's not your gender to speculate on.
Okay, and Riley's gender is not Demon Mama's gender to speculate on.
Right, so so let's say again that she did the bad thing. You agree it's a bad thing.
It's not about it being you're so hung up on whether it's a bad or a good thing. It's whether or not.
Of course, because that's the point of the whole conversation is, are you being a bad person? Are you being toxic? And are you exacerbating toxicity in your spaces?
Okay, so let's, good.
So let's back up. Exacerbating a thing you identified as toxic, so then you made it bad.
So let's back up. So you're saying the conversation is about...
How is this not getting through to you?
You're saying that the conversation... Okay, I'm giving you a chance to clarify. So you're saying the conversation is about being bad or being mean or being... Can you
I'm not saying mean. When you say mean, it loads it with this sort of like, oh, my feelings are hurt. And you know why you say that, dude. Because it's not about being like, oh, my fifis. It's about actually being a toxic person.
Okay, what is the difference between being mean and really mean and toxic? Because everything I'm saying about Demon Mama is just Fifi. Wait, you understand that all of the things I'm saying are just Fifis being hurt, right? I'm not actually attacking. I'm not assaulting somebody.
Fifis being hurt. There's a difference between. There's a difference between saying something like you get this a lot, and you know, and I don't think body shaming is good. You get the short things, I get the fat things, and it doesn't feel good. But we don't really. I would assume you and I are relatively numb to that kind of thing, right? Like, it doesn't really bother you. It might be an insecurity that you have. It might be an insecurity I have. Maybe someone actually says something, but it's because it doesn't come with any weight that doesn't really hurt your feelings. Like, there's feelings, right? And then there's actually, like, experiencing trauma,
which is
to some extent.
Feeling. These are, hold on, just to be clear. Wait, you might not know this.
But everything that
happens online, all of these things are about our feelings.
Yes, but do you agree?
Wait, I need you to understand that. Nobody has like a boxing glove attached to the computer. When you talk about like trauma, okay, when you can just block somebody online, like this is unironically the title of the creator tweet, okay? Unplug the computer. If you're getting traumatized by somebody tweeting at you, it's time to take a step back from the monitor and go eat some grass, okay? Something is very wrong here. Everything we're talking about here is your feelings. These are all about feelings.
You can't... Feelings to some degree, and not in the way that we're loading them when we talk about them in a mimetic way. Like when we meme about like, oh, your fifis are hurt. That's clearly a different social thing. I hope we can all agree that like, I hurt your feelings isn't the same as you caused me mental anguish, or you caused me to revisit trauma, or you caused me to become depressed or anything like that. These are different things. Yes, they're all under the umbrella of feelings, but like saying fifis is clearly like the really bottom of the barrel version of our emotional experience as human beings. What we're talking about.
If these particular conversation topics cause you mental anguish or trauma, it sounds like these are not the types of topics that you should be discussing in a public debate forum. I'm sorry, but like that, you have to take some level of personal responsibility.
So now it's gotten to the point where trans people can't talk about their existence to each other without the threat of somebody else speculating on the validity of their gender, and like it's okay that you engage in that behavior.
I'm gonna let you try that. I'm gonna let you take a stab on that one more time. I'm gonna let you take a stab on that one more time. Okay, I was involved directly, but go ahead. You're telling me that you think what I'm saying is trans people can't talk about their existence to each other. You know that when we're on stream, it's not just to each other. Do you think that you and me, am I in the room with you right now? Do you think I'm talking directly to you right now? Is this a one-on-one conversation?
No, I would have loved a little bit of that in the preamble to this, but
okay,
you want that.
So I'm not in the room with you. You're not in the room with me, right? We're not in each other's heads, right? Would you call this a one-on-one conversation with no outside like viewership, or?
I'm getting a little like funky internet things happening on my end. I don't know if that's me or if that's...
Is that me appearing in the room?
No, I mean, I'm getting lag or something.
Okay, so earlier, you rephrased what I said in the most ridiculous way possible. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
You said that I don't think that trans people should be able to talk about their existence to each other. I never said anything like that. If two trans people are going to argue in a public debate forum, and they're going to argue with each other over the validity of their trans experiences, then yeah, of course I think that opens up public commentary, critique, and discourse related to those conversation topics. Absolutely.
Right.
And then also earlier, hold on, because you made another bad statement earlier, that I said that trans people should never be allowed to. Trans people can go and do anything, but if you have a severe emotional or traumatic response to something, then yeah, I would say you probably shouldn't be involved in like public debate discourse about that, because those are really brutal environments to exist in. Why would you ever do that to yourself?
And okay, this is, you know, that's like victim blaming, right?
It's not at all victim blaming. What do you think victim blaming means?
So there's one scenario where two people are having a good discussion, and it is public, sure, which means that you can talk about the topic and everything like that. But then there's certain lines that happen.
Sure. Like, which I agree. Which is why I would have never brought that topic up if Demon Mama hadn't explored it first. But once that door has been open, then yeah, of course, we have a right to comment on it. We're literally public.
It was open to you.
It was a public conversation that they both chose to make public. So anything they talk about, why would there be a public conversation that two people can talk about that you have no right to have an opinion or idea about? That's insane.
It's not about you having an opinion. It's about specifically the way that you went about sharing your opinion, which was more toxic than it needed to be. Let's have the discussion about the topic.
Let's revisit this in round 2, because you don't even know what the fuck was originally said. So how can you possibly have an opinion about how I expressed mine? I think we should move on to the next topic.
Okay.
Speaking of that, okay. I would like to thank today's sponsor in full now, Conflict of Nations. If you could scan the QR code, bottom left-hand corner, really help the channel. Just play the tutorial. It's on your phone. It's World War III. The only war that's more nuclear than this game is in this debate right now. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to go through, or do you want me to bring it back to the general idea, which I was thinking about?
How much longer are we on for?
19 minutes, maybe 30.
Whatever Mr. Corn guy wants to do.
I'm having some internet things happen. I don't know why. You're both robots to me. Am I coming through on your ends okay?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay. That's weird. Okay. Well, if they can get it on your ends, I guess my internet's being shitty right now. But anyway, so do you think that you have in your ethical opinion, do you think you have an like? I guess we talked about how do you the grounding axioms is a meme around you. What's your like basic ethical understanding at this point, because it seems to move around a little bit. Like, are you for harm reduction or are you for other shit? What do you got going on?
Harm reduction on social media? Absolutely not. That's a
no, not on social media, just in general. Like, what do you think? It's a battleground. That's such a weird way to go about it, man.
But it is, and I've already demonstrated it as such. If you want to revisit that topic, we can, but I think I'm already, like, the record shows that I'm absolutely correct. When you have mainstream political candidates that are out there trying to disavow the toxic elements of their fan base on Twitter. Okay, that you implied that, like, wow, what do you mean it's toxic? It absolutely is. I don't know what else you want me to say about that. It completely is. Moving on, so like what I don't think you have an ethical obligation to be nice to people on social media. That's all I would say. If people want to be dicks or assholes or whatever, I think they can do that. That's fine. It's social media. If you don't like it, you don't have to be on that platform, or you can block people. I think it's super easy to do.
I guess, do you think that there's an ethical obligation, not necessarily to be nice, but to not be shitty to people?
On social media, no.
In any scenario.
Do you understand?
You think social media is specifically different? Like,
yes.
like as far as like,
yeah.
What's the why do you make the distinction?
Because
and also it's not just on social media, it's also on Twitch. And
do you think you have like an ethical obligation to be nice to opponents in a League of Legends game?
Wait, I think you have an ethical obligation not to say like slurs in all chat.
We're not talking about. Notice. Do you see how quickly you're moving away? So I'm sorry. Hold on. Wait. I got to talk through everything because I just realized you have no idea what I just did. Oh, Jesus fuck. Okay. So you're asking me this rhetorical question, saying that like, do you think that in some areas you can be mean to people, in other areas you can't? Like it's some kind of own. Like you're saying like, oh well, we should be nice in every scenario. But what I'm telling you is obviously that is absolutely what you're implying. You just don't understand it, but that's fine. But there are absolutely different environments environments in our lives where in some cases, yeah, you can be kind of mean to people, and in other cases, you can't. So for instance, if I'm walking down the street and I see somebody and I'm like, fuck you, I hate you, motherfucker, I think that's a pretty shitty thing to do. But on social media, that's kind of what we all get there for. We get on social media, we all get there to shit on each other. That's what these environments are for. That's what they happen on Twitter. It's literally 180 characters. Do you think it's there to write your fucking novel? Do you think it's there to share like high quality political discourse? Absolutely not. It's all fucking shit posting. I wouldn't expect anybody to be nice to me on Twitter. I wouldn't expect anybody to be in 4chan or in a League of Legends match. In other scenarios, I would, but no, I disagree with this blanket assertion that like, oh yeah, we have to be nice to everybody or not nice to everybody across every single platform we interact with. So yeah, go ahead.
To everybody or not nice to everybody in every single way. I'm not saying that there's no scenario in which you can be shitty to another person. What I'm saying is about the unique shittiness that people like you and yourself tend to engage in specifically. Do you think like
what do you mean unique shittiness?
You're not just being not nice. You're not just being neutral. You're specifically being genuinely shitty to people. Like, and you don't think there's like an ethical obligation at all not to be shitty to people?
No, I don't. I've already told you that like 4 times.
Wild.
Do you think that like asking the same question over and over again?
I guess it.
Well, let me. So I'll ask.
That, like you smile and you say that.
Okay,
like,
so let me flip.
Like
I'll ask you. Okay, I'll ask you.
You.
Let's do the contrapositive. Okay, so you're saying to me that I am saying that you don't have an obligation to like not be mean to people. Okay, are you saying that you have an obligation to be nice to people? Then do you believe in that? Okay, so what are you arguing for?
What? You don't. So there's a difference between being nice and being a dick to people.
So are you saying there's certain levels of dickness that's okay, or?
Well, do you? Oh wait, do you disagree that we have certain levels of being an asshole to one another, or no? Like, what?
Yeah, sure. I'm just curious where you draw the line then, because now it sounds like we both agree. Now it sounds like we agree completely. We just draw the line in different areas. So does that mean I'm worthy of moral condemnation because you draw the line a little bit closer to neutral than I do, or?
It's not even. I don't think we draw very closely at all. But it's just in general about. I guess it's just odd to me that you smile and go, yeah, of course I don't think that we shouldn't be shitty to one another. It's just, that's so weird.
Because that's not how these platforms work right now. If they were different, then I'd say otherwise.
What do you mean if they were different? Because they are platforms that exist in a vacuum and only through your interaction do they become toxic.
Okay, I'm going to go. Okay, sure. We're going to run through. I'm going to run this. Okay, I have a lot of mushroom experience. Well, we can loop again on this. So you keep saying, you keep implying that I'm the one that makes Twitter toxic. I've already given you an example of a mainstream political figure disavowing the toxicity on the left that I have nothing to do with. Why are you pretending like I'm uniquely contributing to this environment when it's par for the course?
Wait, why do you think that the Bernie thing is like that's the example that you can think of?
Because that's a mainstream political figure that is disavowing toxic activity on the internet that is specifically the types of people that I fight against. Because you say that I go after leftists all the time. So when I act,
going after leftists,
so when I don't know why you're blowing that up to be more vague. Okay, so when you ask me why are you so toxic when you go after leftists, and I say, bro, those same leftists are so fucking toxic that Bernie Sanders, the nicest guy on the internet, was out there saying y'all need to chill. Okay, how are you going to claim that I'm uniquely contributing in a toxic way to that environment?
Did I say it was unique?
Oh, hold on. I'm going to ask for a judge input. Did he not use the word unique? I thought I heard that word exactly.
But maybe
I don't remember.
Okay, I thought he almost verbatim said uniquely toxic.
Let me ask the judges.
Okay, so well, if I did say that, I misspoke, and that's fine.
Okay, that's fine. Then I'll take it.
I wouldn't say that you are the most uniquely shitty person on Twitter. I'm saying that your specific brand and what people know you for.
Do you know what specific is another word for unique?
I guess in some ways it is. That's not really how synonyms work. Are you good?
I'm not saying unique. I'm saying only. I'm not saying only. I'm just saying specifically. I'm not saying specifically. I just mean like
because you implied that you were alone on an island there, and I'm not saying that.
Stop.
Okay.
He said, I think he said unique to Twitch community. He brought up examples like Hasan's.
Okay. So. It's not about you alone being the sole shitty nexus point on the internet. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is when people interact with you, they get a uniquely like toxic engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So why I asked you if you have an ethical responsibility to
be nice to people, be not mean to people. Yeah.
Just not be specifically shitty to people.
Specifically shitty is what we're using now, okay. Which is way different than mean, but go ahead.
It is way different than me. I don't know why you're... well, I do know why. I understand why you're comfortable with...
You could totally own me right now if you just say, like...
big meaning on the internet, which is not what I'm saying.
You could totally own me right now if you're like... I'm gonna help you.
Way.
You can just say, like, Destiny, you're actually so bad faith. When I say being really shitty, I'm talking about this exactly. And you know that's what I'm saying. If you want to go ahead and do that right now, you could totally own me. But you're using these words in the most, like, amorphous way possible. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You are. It's a debate. Of course you're trying to own me. We're literally being judged on our performance.
But, dude, I have no illusions of how any debate with you is gonna go, bro. Like, I'm not trying.
So now we're hedging our bets. Now we back off. It's like, oh, I always knew it was gonna be a debate. Blah, blah. Okay, whatever, dude.
What are you talking about? I'm not trying to own. I'm not trying to dunk on you, dude.
Are you serious, bro? You literally bring up 3 personal examples from my life. One of which is a person that I almost have a restraining order against. And you say you're not trying to dunk on me? What are you talking about?
Specifically brought those up because you bring them up on stream to your massive audience.
But you didn't establish any points for why that was bad or wrong.
Okay, so it's bad or wrong to specifically bring up these things to your massive audience because of the way that they react when you engage in a negative behavior towards people.
These other people are constantly attacking me. I don't have a right to attack them back, or I don't have a right to be negative back.
You can do it to some extent, and then there's a part where you go over the line.
Okay, so Bad Bunny literally has a stream. Bad Bunny literally has a stream titled Gusano Simulator. Can you tell me something that I've done that's like of that level of shittiness towards her? Oh wait.
I mean, two people can be shitty, and you don't have to exacerbate it. Like, again, we can steelman this.
That's what I thought.
You could say someone is shitty to me, someone was real shitty to me, and then and that's bad, and then you do the thing.
Okay.
Like it seems weird. Okay, so what about the ethical obligation to any sort of like consistent like moral framework? Or like it seems like it moves around a lot for you. Do you? That's why
my moral framework has been like exactly spot on this entire conversation. I can repeat any part of it you need me to.
Well, I mean, I'm glad that we got it through an entire conversation, but I mean, like over the course of months.
Over the course of years, I've more or less had the same moral positions when it comes to like managing my community. Like Denims hasn't talked shit about me in like months. I don't think I've brought up her in like months because we just don't interact with each other.
Why are we talking? Okay.
Because Denims was one of the people that you specifically brought up.
Right,
Did you forget that?
Right. I guess we weren't talking about it right now though. It's fine. It's fine. It's
oh, my bad. I know you're really uncomfortable bringing up specific examples. So let's just speak in like the vague generalities that allow you to pretend that you have some authority on the topic. Okay.
Sure. It's about your general demeanor when you have disagreements with people. Like
it's about my general demeanor. That's not being mean to somebody. What is general demeanor?
So, if you want to pick apart each one thing,
I'm not trying to pick. Hold on, no, I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not trying to pick apart one thing. I'm just trying to get you to actually stick to a single coherent definition for anything.
Okay, so do you think that might makes right, for instance?
Might makes right. No, I don't think so.
Not at all. Of course not. But that's what you argued in against two people that I tend to disagree with.
Yeah, I can summarize that argument. So what I said was that
I already watched the argument.
No, hold on. You didn't because you didn't hear what I said. What I said was that if I had to choose between being a country that was getting shit on by another country versus being the country that's shitting on another country, I would rather be. Okay, find the quote for me. Go ahead. We'll wait. Read it. I'm sure you're gonna type in your notepad. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what you said was it doesn't seem like a very good system if my capitalist system can just come in and shit on you. Seems like that's a point for capitalism, right? That's a might make.
It seems like that's not. We're not talking about ethics or morality there. I'm saying that if there is a system of government that constantly gets destroyed by another one, seems like the other system of government is probably better if it can withstand like external pressures. I don't think that's a pretty controversial thing to say. What do you mean?
Right, but then that means that you. Okay, so. I guess.
Wait, is that really that hard to follow? Wait, are you serious?
Well, no, but then you're applying that means that capitalism is more correct than communism in that specific scenario because we get to bomb the shit out of like Vietnam and shit. And,
no, what I'm saying is that if you, I think that any reasonable person that listens to this, if somebody says, well, the reason why every time we try X economic system, it gets rolled over by other economic systems, that to me doesn't sound like a good reason to try X economic system. Seems like I'd rather be the other people that aren't getting rolled over. You keep doing these really confusing things. I can explain this slower if you need me to, but if your system is constantly being toppled by other systems, it sounds like you have a system that is not working too well. That's why I would opt to be in the other system. Do you think that's that controversial of a statement to say? Do you think I'm making an ethical argument there? Or do you think I'm saying that, like, morally, you ought to be toppling weaker systems? Or you have the moral righteousness on your side to destroy other systems? I'm not saying that. That's not a moral argument. It's a descriptive fact with history.
Okay. And so
why is it that
you don't think that comes across? You don't think that comes across to people at all that, like, Vietnam was like a good thing to do?
I've
like,
never said that Vietnam was a good thing.
Sure, but I'm just saying, like, do you don't see how that clip could appeal to right wingers?
That clip is not my creation.
And then that conversation.
That clip is not my creation. If somebody else wants to create a 30-second clip of a 50-minute argument that I have somebody...
It was just the debate in general, but yeah.
No, it wasn't the debate in general. It was clips shared on Twitter. You're either wrong or you're uninformed.
Well, no, I just watched the debate itself. It was just the debate that I was coming from.
Okay, the debate, if you watch the whole debate...
I didn't mean clip in the Twitch sense. I meant just
that whole debate, if you watch it, you're not going to come away thinking like, oh, Destiny thinks that bombing Vietnam was really cool. I never said that. I'm pretty sure, and I don't remember because it's been years since I had this, but I'm pretty sure even afterwards when she tried to attack me and say, oh, you think that might make sense? I'm pretty sure I even said, no, I don't think that. I'm just saying that I wouldn't want to be in a system that's constantly top of another one. I don't know if you watch the debate or not. Why is it that, do you think that, I'm curious, when it comes to being an asshole on Twitter, do you have things that you've done on Twitter that you regret, that you think you should have done?
An asshole on Twitter? Absolutely.
Okay. Do you disavow like saying that like you should be shitty towards like kids or whatever? That wear MAGA hats?
Shitty towards kids, like counterbullying. I believe the tweet is something like,
kids bully your oppressors.
Yeah.
In response to somebody saying, bro, these are fucking children. Do you think that like, I'm curious because you're actually, in these tweets, now you're directing people towards real life behavior that you can't just block. You're talking about going into real life and harassing people where they can't just like block your
I would say that you would agree that there's a situation where political action is necessary, right? In regards to your
for kids? No, not really. No.
For kids? I mean, these were just high school students fighting. I think it was the.
I would consider high school students kids. Yeah, I don't think that I would encourage them to be like harassing each other.
Yeah, sure, but like it's not like a bunch of 6-year-olds and stuff doing that. But that's
so since they're 16, it's okay to encourage them to bully other people for their political differences.
So I understand that like if you want to frame it that way, that's cool. That's definitely a thing you can do. Would I say that today, right this second? Probably not, because I've kind of changed on that. I was a little more aggressive, and I would disagree with that version of me today because I don't think that's fine. However,
I would say you probably should have just led with that instead of justifying it. Like three different ways.
In regards to just in general, the concept of bully your oppressors. There's a reason there's oppression. You just said before that you think it's okay to do certain things in response when they open the gate. But I think we agree on political action specifically. We're not talking about Twitter beef. This is a little bit different.
No. Hold on. So when I'm saying things are okay when other people have opened the gate, I'm specifically having a conversation with you in the context of Twitter beef, okay? That doesn't extend. That doesn't extend necessarily to real life. You know what I mean? If somebody tries to like pit me when I'm driving down the highway, I don't think that you should like try to get behind them and do the same thing. I don't apply that.
Okay. So on the topic of hypocrisy, like the NFT thing came up, and I think that's important now since we're doing a hypocrisy thing. So you recently said that NFTs were, scams.
Do you have the full quote?
I do have the full quote.
Yeah, go for it.
Somewhere, probably. Yeah. Let me see if I
can paraphrase it, and if you disagree with my paraphrase, you can find the exact quote. So what I said was
everyone that tries to sell NFTs is just looking for the biggest sucker.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for a big sucker, right? What does that refer to?
What do you mean?
You're trying to flip. You're trying to flip NFTs to people, right?
Right. Yeah. And now you're doing that.
I don't tell people that they can make money off of NFTs. That's not. I've never done that before.
So you're okay. So your hypocrisy is fine if you're just selling them and trying to make money, because you agree that you have to sort of bank up real quick before you get banned off the platform for whatever it is that you're going to get banned for.
Do you think there's a difference? Do you think there's a difference between selling somebody a Beanie Baby, saying that you can collect it and play with it if you want, versus selling somebody a Beanie Baby and saying they can get rich if they hold on to it? Or do you think this is the same thing?
Are you calling NFTs Beanie Babies?
Yeah, I think they're comparable.
Do you think they're comparable?
Yeah. How do you think they're not? Do you know
How
what?
do I think
actually, I'm curious. What do you?
NFT?
Yeah, what do you think an NFT
Yeah,
is?
the ecological impact of NFTs.
So the ecological impact doesn't exist here because this is not a proof of work. It's a proof of stake thing. It's on a flow information chain where that doesn't exist. So I'm curious. Can you tell me what you think an NFT is? I don't know why you're going also to ecological because I'm pretty sure you need factories to produce Beanie Babies. But go ahead, enlighten us, please.
Well, sure. As far, what are you asking? Are you asking me to?
I'm asking you to tell me what is the
NFT
substantive difference between an NFT versus a Beanie Baby.
Well, one is just a stuffed animal, and the other one's a scam that you agreed was a scam until you got made money on.
How is an NFT a scam? How does that statement make sense?
How is it? You peddling NFTs. Okay, so what's the difference between?
I'm not peddling.
What's the difference between you encouraging your fans to send you money through the purchase of NFTs versus just how everybody else goes about NFTs? You're doing the ethical NFT.
If you want to sell an NFT to somebody and you advertise it as such, this is an NFT. If you want, in my case, it was a clippable fucking stream moment with some varying levels of rarity, then you have the right to do that. Go for it. But if you're trying to sell somebody an NFT and say like, bro, buy this fucking NFT in like 2 months, you're gonna get rich. Okay, I'm selling this now for 10K. You can.
So it's just the lack of prosperity gospel attached to it.
You understand this? So I'll go back to the Beanie Baby example. Do you think there's a difference between selling somebody a Beanie Baby, saying, "Hey, here you go, have fun with it, collect it, or whatever," versus selling somebody a Beanie Baby, saying, "Hey, keep this. In like 5 years, it'll be worth 3x its value"?
Princess Diana Beanie Baby, dude, it's gonna blow up. In fact, I think it did. But like,
I'm going to ask you the same question when you finish rambling. So go ahead.
I just think it's. I just think it's interesting. I don't know, man.
I'm going to repeat the same question. So think about it. I know you're rambling right now to think. So go for it.
When you said before that it was a big scam and then you were just looking for suckers to buy NFTs, like, you think that now you're justified in doing that because you're not telling them that they can make money off of it.
First of all, I'm not directly selling them the NFTs. Secondly, I'm not flipping it onto them.
Third party that you're sponsored by.
It's not like I hold the NFTs and I'm trying to unload it onto a bigger sucker. I'm pretty sure the first party origination is the eternal site. The problem is I don't even think you know what NFTs are. So I'm going to ask you the question again. What is the difference between an NFT and a Beanie Baby? Or do you think there's a difference between selling somebody a Beanie Baby and saying, hey, here you go, collect it, maybe sell in the future, versus selling somebody a Beanie Baby and saying, hey, in like 5 years, this will be 3x its value? Do you think there's a difference between that?
Well, I think one is when you tell someone that there's an ability for them to invest in something and then they do or do not make money on it, that could be a bad thing.
True, sure. I agree. 1,000,000%. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people that sell NFTs do exactly that. They say, bro, buy this shit, it's going to be worth... Okay,
but so do you find the sale of NFTs at all ethical?
Yeah, sure. An NFT is a thing. You can buy and sell it if you want.
Wild.
Well, why do you think buying or selling an NFT? Wait, hold on. Okay. I need to hear you. I need to hear you explain this to me. Why do you think buying or selling an NFT is unethical?
Why do I think buying or selling an NFT is unethical?
Yeah.
Because it's not a real thing. It's like a scam product that.
How is it not a real thing? Can you expand on that? What do you mean it's not a real thing? You know that a CSGO skin is not a real thing. What do you mean by that?
Right, a CSGO thing, I think you agree is like a gamble loot box, though, that you disagree with and you wouldn't take on sponsorship for, right?
Do you think there's a difference between CSGO? Do you think there's a difference between CSGO skin gambling versus like a CSGO skin?
I mean, it's the result of the other. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
no, well, hold on. I just also, by the way, for reference for my chat, I told you guys, if anybody tried to bring this up, nobody even knows what the fucking NFT is. This is why this is not the slam dunk that people think. No one has any fucking idea what any of this technology even is. You don't. Can you? Why do you think an NFT is different than like a CSGO skin?
Why do I think it's different?
Yeah,
I don't think they're ethically that different. I think.
So you think that CSGO skins are unethical?
I think. Wait. You specifically have said that CSGO skins are scummy and it's gambling. It's not a good thing.
That's not true.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not. No, I
just misunderstand your entire clip?
Okay, go ahead and find another one.
What are you talking about?
The sponsors that I haven't taken in the past are for like
every single person on the internet
are for CSGO lotto shit. So like gambling skins. But gambling skins and telling people they can make money.
You think loot boxes aren't unethical?
A loot box is different than trying to flip a skin onto somebody. Wow. Do you think that a loot box and somebody's selling you a skin saying that it'll appreciate in value is the same thing?
Do people sell appreciating value CSGO skins? I don't CSGO.
Yeah, they can, I guess.
Is that a thing? I've never heard of anyone playing CSGO and going like, bro, get my red dragon camo skin, it'll appreciate in value, and then you can flip that on some loser later. Like, what? And so do you think?
Okay, this isn't fair. I'm handicapped because he doesn't even know any of the topics he's fucking bringing up. This isn't fair. I can't even argue about it. He has literally no idea. Yeah, you can buy and sell. Yeah, you can buy and sell CSGO skins. Of course you can.
Okay, so do you think that's scummy behavior?
No, but it depends on how you do it. For instance, the CSGO skin itself, like the NFT, is not necessarily a scam or inherently unethical. But as soon as you start engaging in a practice where you're buying and selling these things, telling other suckers, hey, you can get 3x your value off this, just buy and hold, trust me, it's going to be worth a lot. I think that's the unethical part. Yeah.
So do you think selling NFTs in like current day with the context of how NFTs work and what people know about them, and that you buy them and you're trying to sell them off, but really it's just people sort of like, it's like sharing the same $20 bill to fabricate value. Like, you don't think that like just plainly shilling NFTs in this current climate is unethical because you specifically don't say that they can appreciate in value?
No, of course not. If an NFT is a valid digital entity, of course. If you want to sell NFTs, go for it. That's fine. Yeah, but as soon as you start telling, it's what?
I said you're sponsored. I would expect you to.
First of all, I'm not currently sponsored by them. That was a one-time activation. It was 2 hours.
I meant you were sponsored. Yeah.
Do you think I won't shit talk prior sponsors? You have no idea who you're talking to. Why would you believe that? Number one, okay. Number two, you still haven't explained to me what is the substantial difference between an NFT or a Beanie Baby or a fucking CSGO skin.
So does the website that you
You're getting talking points from chat now. Does the website that I was sponsored by, do they use talking points? Probably. That's probably true. But I don't endorse the messages on every single website from every... I know, because your chat is probably feeding you lines on, because clearly you don't know what you're talking about.
The chat's feeding me lines, man.
I know they are. It's okay, because earlier you brought up you brought up the fact that it has like a bad environmental impact, but that's not true because you didn't know the technology behind this particular set of NFTs. But you probably don't even know what an NFT is, so I wouldn't expect...
This particular set of NFTs? Okay, cool. So this particular set of NFTs is green, right? But does the... Like, you don't think that the website that you're directing people to does anything unethical?
I'm sure it probably
does. Or just
does.
because, like, man, this is what the point is.
Hold on. Do you think that if let's say I got sponsored to play CSGO, like, I think that there's a lot of, like, I don't know how I feel about loot boxes in general. I don't agree that it's the same as NFT, but I don't think I feel that great about loot boxes. Would I never take a CSGO sponsor because they sell loot boxes? Or what about like Twitch? What about when I solicit advertisements on Twitch and I run ads for them or I get subscribers? That money's going to Bezos at the end of the day. If I was a big like union guy, am I betraying my principles? Like,
this is actually an interesting thing. Well, I mean, we have to survive under capitalism, and I think we agree with that. But do you think it's a very robust system? Capitalism is a good system if we have to violate our own personal ethics in order to succeed in it?
I don't know if that's a violation of my personal ethics. I don't know if I say that somebody taking a deal from some company necessarily endorses and supports every single statement that company makes. I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay. I guess I just don't find it to be a terribly compelling argument in the...
Nothing is going to compel you because you don't have a solid stance on any of this shit because you don't know what any of it is. Of course.
Okay. So what this conversation
we're doing this for like 10 more minutes. This has gone on.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm good whenever you are, man.
The entire thing is basically just me asking, hey, do you think that this is like shitty behavior? Do you think that you have any obligation to not be a shitty person? And your responses pretty much every time are, no, being shitty's fine. And that's sad, man. That's okay though.
Okay. Well, your argument of don't be mean to people, I just didn't find very compelling, and I'll try not to.
Why are you framing it like that, bro? Like, why is it just because it's like too hard to actually like engage with what I'm saying?
Tell me what I'm wrong about.
It shouldn't be. You said it was very easy, and it should be easy. This is not a hard topic.
What is the moral obligation?
Being real mean to people? You think I'm talking about being a
What's the difference between being real mean and being shitty, or being shitty and being toxic, or being real mean and kind of toxic?
I think it's.
Do you? I can't tell. Oh, okay,
you know what's really fascinating about that is because that
See how you're still not answering the question?
Because that is a hard question to answer, because it doesn't take into account a lot of variables in regards to how we socialize with one another, who we're talking to, what the rapport is, etc., what the forum is. Like, that's why it can't be just one answer. Like again, if I said you have a small peepee, haha, and we were just joking around and we're friends or whatever, that's one thing. But saying you have a small peepee to someone that's like, maybe they're a trans mask person and they just got they just got sexual reassignment or something like that. Like, that would be a more shitty thing to say, irrespective of your bants necessarily. Like, it's just because of the different variables that go on there. And so when you frame it as just being a meanie, like, I know you're doing that on purpose. Like why not just engage with what I'm actually talking about, which is
because you don't have any.
behavior.
I can try to give you better talking points if we ever revisit this argument, because you just don't understand.
Better.
Well, but you're not really giving me anything to engage with. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know what you're. I don't know what you're telling me to do. I don't know what your compulsion is. I don't know what you're saying I'm doing is bad or wrong. Like, I don't know where you even come. I'm not asking you for a specific line. Like, I draw the line right between autistic and total Neanderthal. This is where the line. I'm not asking you for something that specific.
I don't know that.
What part of that didn't you understand?
Autistic and total Neanderthal? What does that mean?
I'm not telling you to give me a specific line between everything over here is okay and everything here isn't okay. Does that make sense?
Sure. I guess I'm just caught up on what autism and Neanderthal people...
They were just two random insults, and I said you draw the line between...
they were insults. Okay. So calling someone autistic or calling someone a Neanderthal. I see. Okay.
Do you think that calling somebody autistic in an argument is not an insult?
No, it is. I just didn't realize you were listing insults. I didn't really know what you were doing. That's why I was
What
confused.
are the other commonalities between autistic people and Neanderthals besides being an insult?
Exactly. I thought you were just being shitty to autistic people, which for a second, because of the way that came across. That's why I was asking. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
So
yeah. Okay. Well, I'm curious. After this conversation, are you going to do anything about all the people in your chat calling me a gusano, or is that a cool thing in your chat?
In my chat, calling you, what are you talking about?
Was that a no? I'm just curious. It's an easy thing to say, like, yes or no.
Are there people in my chat saying things like that?
I mean, your mod is in chat saying, like, Gusano's not a slur. So I was just curious if you had a strong opinion on it. But that's cool.
Is it? I've never...
you've never... No idea? It's crazy how you guys, like, your minds go blank sometimes,
What do
depending
you
on the topic.
mean? What is that? Yeah, is that a thing? Who's saying it? And what does it mean?
Okay.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not up on my slur game. Is that a thing?
It means meanie pants in Cuban. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Okay, it's all good.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So you're just gonna go with you think I'm saying don't be a big meanie. That's what you're coming with.
Until you've provided me a more specific definition. Right. Yeah, it seems like.
Right. Yeah, I've never heard of it either. Is it a? People are saying it's from Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a thing? Is that real?
Listen, it's all good, dude. I don't I don't really know what else.
Well, I don't know what the slur is, and I'm not seeing anyone say it.
I'll tell you what Gusano means if you can tell me what an NFT is. Okay.
Okay, it's a non-fungible token. You can't funge it.
Cool. All right. Good enough.
You can't even.
Okay.
Is it an anti-Cuban thing? I don't know. Is it?
I mean, it's funny because when I brought this up earlier as an example of like a Bad Bunny stream topic, you didn't stop and ask me about it then. But then when I brought up an example in your community, now you're more.
I think if you go back and go there, I said, well, I don't know what that is, but we could steelman it, and you could say like, hey, I shouldn't also engage in that behavior. So we agree it's bad when someone else does it, but it's not bad when you do it. Is like the point. And then
wait, do you think I'm engaged in racial slurs against people? Wait, what?
Well, I mean, privately, yeah.
What is? Wait, this is a totally different conversation.
Come on.
And no, I don't call people slurs privately. No. Okay. If you have evidence of me calling an individual a private slur, I'm curious, but okay.
Why would I have evidence? Well, you said it on your own stream, bro. Use the N-word privately. I think you meant in rap songs.
Do you think that using slurs, like in a private joke or whatever, do you think that's the same thing as calling somebody a slur? Do you think that's the same thing?
Don't think it's the same, but I do think that you had a good conversation. Well, one person had a good conversation. You had a good conversation with a former friend of yours that explained it pretty thoroughly that I don't have to.
Why are you saying former friend of mine? Me and Triax are fine right now. But that's
cool.
Are you
fine right now? But well, he seemed very upset about that. And like, and you have conversations with one of my friends about that.
Maybe if you take a second and do a little bit of introspection, maybe you could figure out the problems aren't necessarily as simple as you seem to think they are sometimes. But all right.
Okay, so I'm gonna. Okay, wait. Okay, so you both will get like a minute to do ending things before the judges send me their results. Okay, so I'll let
yeah, let him go.
I was about to call you cornflake again. I gotta stop. I let Jake do the intro, so I'll let Destiny do the first outro.
Yeah, I mean, like, this whole conversation has been like him like sliding down a building, like desperately trying to find a ledge. He's brought up like random people that I have like incredibly personal interactions with, but then every single time we dip into anything, it seems like he's unwilling to explode a little bit further because he realizes that none of the examples that he's bringing up is either necessary nor sufficient to justify any of the arguments that he's making. This happened over and over and over and over and over again. I can't even keep track of every example that he brought up, where every time he brings up a personal example of some moral failing of mine, he says, well, I'm not talking about morality, or he says, well, I don't want to talk about a specific thing. Let's be more general. He just did it again, like at the very end of this conversation here, trying to bring up like an argument that I had with somebody else to try to get another point. I truly don't have a closing statement. I don't actually know what this argument was about. I'm actually looping. I feel like I'm in a drug-induced psychosis. I don't know if this is about being not toxic or mean, but I don't know what toxic is, and apparently that's way different than being mean. And I guess it's not about like what we should do. It's just what it would be nice to do. Maybe we're using a little bit of Vaush language here. We're not talking about compulsion. We're talking about like supererogatory or whatever. Maybe I truly am lost at the end of this. I hope that the best parts of this debate make it as NFT clippable moments on my apparently ongoing sponsor, who is now a title sponsor of me. Welcome to Eternal Destiny .gg. Welcome, guys, to the brand new NFT all day, every day website. And I actually have live footage of all of the forests that are burning down with the servers in the background that are churning through the information to make these NFTs possible. So thank you so much for the opportunity to do this.
Yep.
Sure.
ActualJake.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. I didn't think I would get through to you on the topic. I didn't think it would work. But I was sort of forced to talk to you anyway, even though I tried to reach out privately. But that's okay. But yeah, if you want to come hang out sometime and talk about something you actually disagree with, that'd be good. I do wish that I do wish, just for the sake of the communities on the internet in general that you tend to interact with, I hope at some point that you come away with the idea that you could probably grow a reasonably non-toxic community around you. There's lots of different things that you can do to, I don't know, just make it a less hostile environment. Like, you are the progenitor of a lot of the problems on this platform, specifically due to your popularity. And I guess I wish that you were aware of that, or you gave a shit about that. And I realize that, like, part of your worldview is like, I'm gonna get mine, I'm gonna succeed where I can. Like, the NFT thing is a good example of that, where you're like, I'm just gonna make my bag and try to get the fuck out of here. Like, part of that I understand, right? But the other part of it is like, you have a responsibility, in my opinion, and in the opinions of many other people, to foster a community that has a little bit less of the bullshit that goes on. Like you said, that's just the way things are. You're part of the reason that that's the way things are, and you could, if you wanted to, make the big change there. It doesn't. This isn't a scenario where we have to go out and canvass people to try to change an election. You could just change your demeanor towards people and make the internet and Twitch a lot better place, even with just your impact. And I know you're not the biggest streamer ever, but you're obviously popular. Like, to talk about it. So, like, it's just a thing where I don't know. It's just, I'm more dejected about it than anything. I wanted to use this opportunity to talk to you about that, knowing that no matter what we talked about, it was just going to be a shit show if we tried to talk about a political topic specifically. So, like, it never goes anywhere. I would absolutely love to see better communities in general on Twitch, better communities from everybody, because it's I tend to have one of the better communities in my small space. We don't get, as many views as you do, but we're very, very happy, man, and we just vibe, and it's a nice little chill scenario. And I guess, I don't know. Maybe I have too much hopium, dude. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just me being naive about you and about the internet in general. But yeah, I don't think you should. I don't think anyone should come away with this feeling like really good about it, man. Like, every time I gave you an opportunity to be like, "Hey, do you think this is a shitty thing to do?" You're like, "Yeah, but they did it first." It's like, all right.
Okay, wonderful. I'm now going to ask the judges for their votes and get them, and then return to you this answer. No matter who wins, I lose. So that's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Also, what did you think of the cage match?
Great idea.
I only used one of them.
True. You know what you
stayed
should
out
do?
of it in
Use it
general.
now, so now there's no answer. There's no result.
Okay. Cage match.
Okay. 1 second. Let me get the results. Okay. One vote is in. Second vote is in. Ah, fuck. And the third vote is in. Okay, wonderful. So I do want to say, though, just for the record, I didn't force anyone to have a debate. At the end of the Rumble, I did give you a choice if you wanted to have the championship match or not.
I don't know what that means.
Man, he's pretty forgetful about a lot of things, huh?
Okay. Anyway.
Well, I don't really engage in this shit. So
You literally said in your closing that like there's a guy out of frame forcing you to have this debate. Like the gun is right off screen. Like I was forced to do this.
Okay. Let's just have the vote done. Okay? So I want to be clear that this vote was done by 3 independent judges.
Oh, I see. I won the hippy dippy round table thing or something, and I felt obligated to Dylan, you know.
Okay, and I appreciate.
I'm not saying I felt like I fucking had to do it. I'm just saying, like, you know, felt dumb not to do it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you creating the content in the corn suit. Now, whoever wins will be facing CTV for the belt since he won the undercard tonight and he's the #1 challenger. Now, I will say that this was probably the most frustrating debate to moderate, and no matter who wins, I lose, okay?
Yeah.
And these decisions were made completely without my influence. It is a split decision on who won tonight. These split decisions can be produced by a number of factors. It can be because people judge matches differently. It can be because certain people have undisclosed biases. It could be any number of reasons. So, the first judge voted for Destiny. The second one voted for Jake. And the last vote, the integral vote, the tipping vote, ended up going to Destiny, who retains the belt as the third defense of the belt. I think the third match for the belt, breaking Vaush's record.
Hell yeah, dude. Good job.
Gappy, you can come in here for the interview. It's your one job. Don't mess it up. I swear to God, Gappy. Come in here. There he is. Gappy. Okay, interviewee, post-match interview.
Oh, I gotta do this now?
Yes.
Oh, fuck. Well, it's been an interesting debate. And I think there was a lot of very interesting and unique discourse that came out, or very specific discourse as well, if we want to put it that way. Destiny, how are you feeling now that you've won this debate?
It's just probably one of the crowning moments of my life. I'm actually overwhelmed with emotion right now. I can't even show it.
Yeah, buddy.
What do you plan on doing to celebrate?
I'll probably, honest to God, pop open a thing of wine, hop on my Twitter account, and just be toxic all night long, I think, towards random people.
Wait, your Twitter account? You're saying that you have a Twitter account right now?
It has 2 followers. I just made it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, that seems pretty weird that you have a Twitter account now all of a sudden. I'm glad Twitter unbanned you.
Yeah.
Are you going to unblock me from it?
I'll think about it.
Hell yeah.
Jake, how are you feeling right now? Do you feel like, what do you feel coming out of this debate?
Same way I went into it. I don't know. I never expected to really like gain any ground with Destiny here. I don't know. I just hope that people realize that they have an impact on other people, and would really love to see, you know, more of a I don't know, more of a reasonable and nice sort of go of it sometimes. Like, there's a lot of performative bullshit that a lot of us do because we feel obligated for clicks and money and subscribers and shit like that. And I don't know. I think it's a really cynical outlook, and kind of hope that changes in some ways. But that's just my lefty pipe dream shit. I'm guaranteeing it. So.
Gotcha. I felt like this debate was up in the air, and I felt like it was very close on both ends. Jake, I'm just wondering, have any plans beyond this for your stream, or is there any elements for your stream that you plan on doing afterwards? Any elements of Medico? Any elements in regards to the corn suit maybe that you plan on developing further out from here?
Where does Cornflake go from here?
Where does Cornflake go from here? Well, insofar as the streams, we do political streams around 8 p.m. Eastern most weekdays. But on starting next Thursday, we are doing our live play D&D stuff, which is pretty much what the passion is here. And just being able to, it's going to be one of the better. Now, as far as numbers are concerned, probably not very high up. But as far as quality, the D&D stuff is going to be good. As far as the politics and stuff, you guys may see some corn suit changes in the future.
The corn's evolving is what you're telling us.
Well, let's just say, well, I've been sort of working on the downstairs studio for a little bit, and that took a lot of my money. But there's some other stuff in the works for this entire office that are going to change pretty soon. So,
oh, now that's exciting. Destiny, I'm wondering, based off of this, I know you're going to continue streaming. Are there any other shout outs you want to give? Are there any streamers who stream from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time that you feel are important, or people that you should check out or anything?
Do your job.
Fuck off. Okay. All right. Okay.
I just want to give a big shout out to basically every big leftist community on the internet. They're all absolute dog shit, filled with horrible fucking people. Most of them hypocritical. A lot of them revealed themselves recently. We saw the massive homophobia on display when it came to Pete Buttigieg. Even our buddy Korn here called him a rat and shit on Twitter multiple times.
Wait, because he looks like a rat when he eats cinnamon rolls.
Excuse me, it's my closing statement. Okay, you had yours.
Well, he does though.
We've seen leftist people encourage like Korn Man here in the bullying of children. We saw it happen with the high schoolers that won like fucking $100 million because of how horrible the bullying was online and because of how bad the reporting was. And we've seen them engage in things like death threats or calling me racial slurs, and they seem to all think it's okay. The problem with a lot of these people that are quote unquote leftists is that they don't actually have any principled positions on anything they believe in. They just think that it's bad as long as they agree with the person politically, and if they disagree with the person politically, then all insults and everything are good. So yeah, fuck all these losers on the left. They don't stand for fucking anything. They, as the Corn guy said, and trust me, I'm from fucking Nebraska, lived there for 30 years. I know Corn, all right? And this Corn is absolutely a performative fucking loser that is full of shit on fucking everything. There's a reason why he has such strong feelings about me and couldn't bring up a single fucking example. He tried to mine aspects of my personal life to do it. People that are literally fucking stalking and harassing me across multiple platforms that any person can look and see like, oh yeah, this is a horrible person. But again, when you're far left, literally everything is okay as long as you don't like the person. Ironically enough, you engage in the same dehumanization that you claim me.
You know what I think was really smart is to wait for your meltdown till after the vote. So it's like, well, they can't take it back.
I don't think I'm not having a meltdown. No, I'm literally just stating what happened in this conversation.
You seem very mad, but that's okay.
There were parts of this debate where I was trying to search for better arguments in your glasses, okay? Because you literally had nothing to say.
Well, okay.
Yeah, if you want to interpret it as a meltdown, that's fine. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, so it's your version of meltdown because you can't just be like, I'm fucking big man, because you know that you're on the internet right now and you can't just like do that. But I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, there was a little bit more of your general toxicity happening after the fact. So
so after you play dumb and act like a dumb fuck for the entire conversation, and somebody goes into your channel like, "Wow, you sure were stupid. I can't wait for you to be crying on Twitter afterwards."
I actually didn't know that was a huge slur.
You asked a very important question, and the important question.
What are you doing?
Important question.
You're not
asking the important question.
Why is he not muted?
You're not asking the important question.
What if I mute him?
You know what the question
is?
she
Now I can't hear.
The question is, are you ready for CTV?
That's right. The question. That's right. That's exactly right. The question that you got to ask, right? That got asked by Jake, or actually, correction, it got asked by Dylan. Where does the corn go from here? Well,
I mean, I would like to say CTV. I would like to say CTV. Congratulations on the undercard win. And second of all, thank you, Destiny, for proving my point right after the fucking conversation about don't be a fucking toxic loser. Like, just couldn't not be a toxic loser, dude.
Wait, hold on. Can I ask one? Can I ask one final time? So what I just said was toxic. What part of that was toxic and why?
What part of it was toxic and why? Bro, you come on.
That nervous laugh at the end, and that nervous laugh in response to my question was the entire debate. Thank you for proving my point. Thank you.
Cornflake, look.
Wait, why do you guys think it's nervous laughter when I laugh at you guys? I'm not nervous.
Look right at me. Cornflake, look right at me. Cornflake, you see me? Do you see me?
What is your name?
Look. Here's the deal.
Wait. What's your name? What can I call you?
What's my name? Motherfucking daddy. Just ask your mama, right? So look, here's the deal.
Well, he's dead.
Here's the deal. Well, that's your. I don't know what to tell you about that. So here's the deal. This is what you do. This is where Cornflake goes from here. Cornflake goes back to the motherfucking field, back to Nebraska, where Destiny is motherfucking familiar, right? He tilts your ass up all and down the motherfucking road tonight. So what you do, right, is you take that seed and you plant it in the ground, right? And then once it comes into the ground, right, and it starts to sprout up. And then once it sprouts up and it starts to actually produce some corn worth motherfucking ingesting, right? Then you take that corn and you turn that sumbitch sideways and you shove it straight up your candy ass, because that's what happened tonight.
Sideways.
CDV. What?
Exactly.
No.
Sideways.
What made you think that anybody fucking asked for your dumb opinion, all right? You already won one debate. You're not here for a second debate right now, okay?
Do I got to go against you? Because I can go against anybody.
You being called the interviewer here, okay? I'm the one being taking exposure here, okay?
You're the announcer, right? So I tell you what, Jim Ross, why don't you go and sit over in the corner and just try to act like you're commentating the event, but the reality is that CTV stole the motherfucking show. Destiny was kicking it off on the highlight.
Yeah, CTV so you have to come in at the last second in order to get a little bit more attention, all right? Because I think that right now, I think our big focus should be what Destiny plans on doing to prepare for the next debate.
It's true. That's true. Absolutely. Right? And if we could get the corn moved off the screen and get back to sprouting over some new ideas, that'd be exactly the way that we need to go. Jake, I love you, bro. I love the
What is your name? Do you not use your name, or because I've always ever seen you CTV?
CTV, bro. Okay. Makes it easy.
All right, man.
Wolfpack.
I mean, you guys were talking about a whole bunch of toxicity on the left tonight, right?
True, we were. They're pretty toxic, aren't they?
They are. So why the fuck should I open myself up to that whenever ever since I've been on the fucking platform, all I've encountered is toxicity on the fucking left.
True.
And the fact of the matter
I wonder why, bro.
Every single time I've come into interaction with Destiny's community has been exactly what he fucking said tonight.
Look, I am not surprised that Destiny's community embraced a right winger. So congratulations.
Oh, so you're saying it's okay that the left wingers were toxic against the right winger?
I'm not surprised.
I think CTV's forgetting the fact that he's about to debate Destiny, not try to date Destiny. Unlike you're not trying to go for an E-date here. I'm trying to understand how you guys plan on combating each other in the next round.
The reality is here is that look, there is no reason for Destiny not to want CTV.
Oh, I just want to say hi, Vaush. I hope you enjoyed my show tonight. I hope you found some cool arguments to co-op for me in the future when your community gets accused of harassment. And don't worry, man, I got your back.
So?
Yeah, or listen.
Why? Is that just because you can't afford your own stream now at this point? You got to come up with
What are you talking about? I'm doing pretty okay.
Well, no, it sounds like you're trying to control my speech through this side line of logic.
Wait, what was that mean?
Well, the reality of the situation is, Destiny, CTV's your next challenger. CTV, do you have anything you want to say to Destiny?
Yeah, Destiny, look, great argument tonight. I really enjoyed the show. But I got to be honest with you, bro.
Yeah.
Cornflake, at a few times, you could have absolutely decimated this fool, and you didn't take the advantage.
I'm trying to be more. The problem is that like I have to match tone, right? So he has like a disaffected kind of like blunt effect, right? So I can't like jump on him because then it makes me look unhinged. So I think the most effective tactic is usually people like him will kind of like wander around in circles when they don't have an answer. As long as I can identify that and then tell you, hey, you're gonna ramble. I'm gonna ask the question again. I think that that's like the most like type of like owning I can do in terms of the conversation, because then I can demonstrate like, look, he's incapable of answering this question, and then I point out that we're moving on to the next
only if I do it.
Yeah. So like, there were a couple of times during, and I don't want to get into.
Wait, hold on, real quick, CDV. So an example of what he just said. So he made fun of that. He just said, "Is it okay to do a bad thing? Well, only if I do it." Earlier, CTV.
That's what you said. That was your defense of your bad shit, bro.
Earlier,
you did it 3 times.
Earlier, CTV, when you said I've been harassed a ton on the left, what Jake said under his breath was, "That doesn't surprise me." almost like what? You deserve it because you're right-leaning? Like, you literally said the exact same shit earlier. You can go back and watch the clip while you sit here and pretend you don't remember what you said.
It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise you because that is how the internet is. Exactly, as I've said the entire time.
CTV is, and he interacts with people. I am not surprised that people go, will you shut the fuck up, dude?
Oh, that's toxicity? That's toxicity? Just telling someone to shut the fuck up? That's toxicity to you?
See, look, Destiny, this is where you got to recognize beta behavior when you see it. Right, and when you see beta behavior, if you feed the beta behavior, right, that's when it's going to only become way more toxic because.
Wait, are you an alpha?
It does not understand where.
I think he's a sigma. He's actually a sigma, not an alpha.
Is he a sigma or an alpha?
No, he's an alpha. He's the leader of the pack.
He's an alpha. Last time we talked, he drank too much and wept on his floor.
No, I was actually laughing at the poor performance that you had and how you actually had enough followers to be able to pull off the vote,
we were genuinely concerned. I'm still genuinely concerned about you.
Look,
are you okay? Are you good?
Next time there's some shit going down, I absolutely expect every single one of Destiny's community to come out and crush this vote, especially when it's against ActualJake, right? There's no reason why he shouldn't be coming out to support CTV in that kind of debate again, right? But the reality here...
Is it going to be a fan vote?
No, I mean that's what it came down for you. That's what was the most surprising. I've been a conservative. I've been in the underdog in this community for over a fucking year, right? Over a year, I've been the underdog, having to fight every single fucking inch that I fucking gotten, right? And you know what? I've been happy to be a part of the community.
Shit, bro.
You're damn right it's some bootstrap shit. I live my own fucking ideology. I traveled the fucking country, me and my wife. We got a motherfucking 2006 F-150 and we got a 2019 Ford Mustang. And I got a motherfucking suit that'll make your motherfucking wife want me, all right? I don't know what to tell you, but that's how it is. So,
all right,
Jake, sometime if you'd like to have a rational conversation about why
you can stop by literally we don't have to schedule this. You can just stop by anytime you want. Okay, all of you can do that. This has always been the case. You can stop by and you can say, hey, do you want to talk about this? And I'll either say yes or no, and that's the whole thing.
You know, you say that, and yet I stopped by your chat one day, and you completely ghosted me.
Yeah. Also, wait. Why do you keep saying this when you actually dodge? You dodge so hard. We almost set up a conversation in the past, and you're like, oh, I just baited him. I'm never talking to him. Do you deny?
I baited you?
Yes.
Where?
Oh, wait. Hold on. Before I have people like dig this up. So. You're telling me that there was never a point. There was never a point where you and me were about to have a conversation. I think you even got to the point where you're like, unblock me on Twitter or something. And then when I did, you were like, haha, just kidding. I would never talk to you. You don't remember that?
No, I do remember you wanting to talk specifically about trans panic that I didn't want to talk about in Rittenhouse. And I didn't want to talk about that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, if linkers in chat can find it, it'd be funny to link before this ends, but okay.
Okay, go ahead and find it where I said I baited Destiny. Go for it. But I mean, if you unblocked me, you could DM me and you could be like, hey, this is
why would I do it a second time after you've already shown that you're too afraid to talk about things that you challenged me on Twitter in the past? You take shots at Twitter and then you run and hide.
I'm blocked. I don't take any shots on Twitter. You snipe me, bro.
You don't think you literally made like a 15-minute video about like a tweet that I made about
a 15-minute. It's
about a tweet I did. About a retweet I did, I think.
Yeah, I want to give you something actual to respond to, right? So as I look up your Twitter account here, it's not following CTV. You say these things, and yet the actions...
My DMs are open.
I don't give a fuck about that. Are you following? Are you following? Right?
Why would I ever remember to follow you?
Is he not worthy of your follow?
That's
not yet.
What do you mean not yet?
Well, I don't know. You have to make me want to see you in my feed.
See you in your feed. What makes you think that I give two flyings of a fuck about whether or not I appear?
You just asked me to follow you. That's why. What do you mean?
Yeah, of course you would, right? Because the reality is that's the only way you're going to get any based arguments to be able to try to take on somebody like fucking Destiny, right? That's why you're in B category. That's exactly why you should be following CTV. Like, what the fuck are you doing right now?
I was in S category last time.
Like, your whole logic works against you in this situation.
So you don't want to see CTV's content in your feed, but you do want to see Destiny and get on block there.
Or he does want to see the person that he said he had to ban from his community because they were so toxic that he lied about still being a moderator there. Yikes. Interesting.
Dude, she's not part of the community. I don't know what you're talking about. She's probably in chat, but she's not a mod. I don't know.
I don't know. You seem to forget me, where you ghosted me in your fucking chat. Your chat started
When were you in chat?
He's in the chat. It was
when was that?
What? Like a fucking week ago? Matter of fact, I was sick of COVID and your ass fucking ignored me, right?
I don't
was
remember.
Just like, hey, Jake, if you want to talk, we can talk. And you were like, fucking ghosted me, bro. And I was like, and you want to
just not see you?
How the fuck am I supposed to know what it is that you fucking
I don't remember
saw?
that.
Jesus Christ. Can you like think through the questions that you're asking somebody before you, like what their perspective would be before you bother asking the question?
Well, do you think that I saw you?
I would... Did you see anybody else in the chat? Did you see the one above and below? Yeah, you saw that. You addressed that shit, but you don't fucking address me? What do you fucking think that says?
Are you okay? I'm sorry I hurt you.
I'm just pointing out facts of the case. I don't feel either way about it, but the fact of the matter is, anytime that I bother speaking, I do so with passion. Why? Because it should probably be fucking listened to. Just saying.
You think if you are really passionate, your words mean more
no,
stuff?
I'm saying that if I'm speaking, it's
funny.
passionate.
Yeah.
And because I don't choose to speak unless there's something actually to be said, which is really
That's not my experience with you. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you repeated yourself.
Come by some other time when we're not doing
I
whatever
wish
this
you would.
is.
Come by the Wolf's Den, show the
Well,
actual
I'm not gonna
effort.
come by you. I don't watch Twitch like that.
Why? Why wouldn't you come over to the Wolf's Den? You got a problem with the Infinity Acre Wood? You got a problem with the Infinity Acre Wood?
I just probably wouldn't watch, and I don't really watch Twitch like that. But that's, you know.
What do you mean watch Twitch like that? I'm on fucking YouTube, Twitter. I mean, what fucking social media platform you got? What do you want?
Wolfpack's expanding.
Okay.
The fuck you want?
Hell
We're
yeah.
going all over the internet now. As a matter of fact, I got to say, Destiny, that is quite a nice website you got set up. But besides that, we're heading in that same fucking direction, right? We're setting up camp. We're here, right? You got to deal with me whether you like it or not. So you might as well go ahead and come by the Infinity Acre Wood because I ain't fucking going nowhere. Right?
Also,
okay, so I'll make sure we get you to
zoned
get by.
out.
You'll be coming over.
I was reading chat.
Just for prior tweets, I guess this was around July 8th.
Oh, no.
So ActualJake said, I've tried to talk to him like 4 times. He tried to whine his way onto my stream in my chat twice, and I said no,
when I was talking about the Big
because
Joel
I was
thing,
in
you
the middle of
absolutely did.
watching the videos of him I was disagreeing with.
Yeah.
Anyways, he blocked me after I ratioed him, and then the next day he said my
did
big
get
money
ratioed.
grab was disagreeing with Destiny, him malding in my chat, then me explicitly
bad.
not engaging with the big super popular streamer who kept begging me to debate about nothing in particular because he was big mad at me for agreeing with someone who isn't him. Why would you expect me to ever reach out to have a conversation with you if you're like so obviously not willing to talk?
Because he got ratioed.
What are you talking about? First of all, he did get ratioed, but that was on something different. But the second of all, it was because I was in the middle of watching your debate with Big Joel, and I agreed with Big Joel. I had the audacity to disagree with you, and you came in my fucking chat and were like, "Fucking debate me," and I was like, "Nah, I'm good." And then you're like scared, and then you left. It was weird.
Okay, so the reality situation is, look,
Just-
we
okay, so-
understand.
Yeah, okay, I rest my
in the
case.
middle of the content.
Okay,
I just want to make
look.
sure. Hold on, Dylan, real quick. I just want to make sure we understand the reality situation. Destiny was voted the winner tonight.
He was. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Destiny. I'm really proud of you. You know I was rooting for you. No
Thanks, buddy.
doubt.
I tried.
Yeah, man. You did good. Now, that being said, I fucking hope you bring your A game, son, because it's going down.
All right, I'll bring
at
it.
the championship title for Christmas.
All right.
It's going down.
Okay.
And
Is
until
this
I see
on
all
Christmas?
you fine folks in,
Not on Christmas, but
stay
around
frosty.
Do you think you'll be able to bring the same energy that CTV did?
He
I'll
just
try.
leaves.
All right, I'm good.
That's an alpha. Okay. Yeah, you're good.
All
Everybody's
right.
good.
I love you guys.
Okay.
I want to quote a wise man before I leave. I really like this tweet. I think it's a really good tweet. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see it. I'll tweet. Ooh, I can do a quote too. Do you want to stick
There it
around
is.
for that?
So the quote is, "You're never obligated to engage with things that upset you. You got to take care of yourself before you can help everyone else." That's just wise words, man. Whoever said that, just perfect.
Of course, there's
okay?
no obligation, and I don't
Nice.
think that
That's
contradicts
just-
anything I said. And you'd have to be a monkey
I
brain. not to-
really
not to
like that
understand
quote.
that
I think that's a
We need to
really,
put the
really, really
monkey
good
book
piece of
again.
advice for people in general. So cool.
Yeah, never obligated. Absolutely, I stand by it. Why would you be obligated for something like that?
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
that doesn't make any
beautiful
sense.
quote.
The word obligated means stuff.
It does. You seem to have forgotten a lot of words in this conversation, but maybe that corn hat is a little bit too tight. I guess I don't know.
Oh, you did. You
Every word
can't,
is
you
unique and
can't
specific.
recycle jokes. Please, you can't recycle jokes. You said that before we were talking. Oh,
I mean-
corn hat's a little too tight. Come on.
I think I'd
You're
rather
better than that.
recycle jokes and recycle the entirety of this debate from like basically shit that's been said in the past with nothing specific brought up. So
Okay, cool.
keep
I did
popping,
bring-
dude.
It's okay.
Okay.
I wish I could find this. More specifically, but I remember in the past we were trying to set up a debate and he wouldn't. He like, my recollection of this was that he tried to agree to something and then he was like, "Oh, I just baited him. What a loser." Oh, you found it. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. It wasn't this. It was this. It had to do with the trans sexual disclosure shit or whatever. he got me to unblock him to have a conversation. And then I unblocked him. And then he was like, finally unblocked by Seeth and Steve. Shut the fuck up, you rape apologist loser. Block me again. And then he ducked out. That's what the, that's where he ducked me. Okay, thank you for showing this. After begging me to unblock him. But, okay. Apparently that Sushi Mom person is still a mod in his chat. People are saying the mod list might not update, so... Oh, wait, never mind. This was on the actual chat list? Oh, so she actually still is a mod. He might just be flat out lying, but then he'll just say at the end like, oh yeah, of course it's a meme. I'm not going to unmod people just because Destiny doesn't like them, right? He'll probably, it's always like that shit. Knew he liked sucking his own, oh, these are just toxic tweets by him, but I don't think I care. It's whatever. What a dumb. Oh, he was defending the harassing children shit. I don't care. Son is like DMing me such memey shit. It's just so weird. I don't understand. But he wants me to tell you guys that he said hi. I don't know how you can watch this. It's got to be so boring. You should debate Maddycakes. Maddycakes is actually a brainless dipshit. She's actually like unbelievably stupid. It's funny because we had a private conversation to squash our beef that Zonia set up. We talked through it for like 30 minutes and I think everything was cool. And then like fucking 3 days later, this stupid fuck couldn't help themselves. And they were out like insulting me again in some other fucking chat room. They actually couldn't help themselves. Even after this, in case you don't know who Maddycakes is, Maddycakes photoshopped threats against her pretending they came from my community. That's literally what she did. If you're ever bored, you can go find the Reddit threads on it. But like, you could see because she fucked up the Photoshop and she left a little, not an artifact, but like a little dot from the prior Photoshop that she didn't erase. And she tried to say like, oh, it must have been when I took a screenshot, I pushed the dot tool or whatever. But yeah, she actually faked threats from my community. You should have an in-depth conversation to Corn Guy about the Anna Denims and Bad Bunny stuff. Damn, it was actually really hard not to go off. Like, this guy is he's digging up like some of the meanest and worst fucking people in my life. And then trying to say like, oh, well, why are you so mean to them? And he was implying also that like the Anna stuff was like really two-sided. That like, oh, well, actually, you're the one doing all that. Damn, it was hard not to go off. Also, I'm glad this came up because fuck all of you. Wait, hold on. Fuck all of you, okay? All of you dipshits on my fucking Reddit, okay? I know you're watching, and you're always like, Destiny, people are gonna bring up the NFT thing in the future, and it's gonna be the easiest dunk of the world. No, it's not, you fucking morons. Nobody knows what the fucking NFT is. You really think somebody's gonna be able to dunk on me on some shit where they don't even know what the fuck it is? Like, that is like the easiest fucking landmine, like pitfalls in the entire world. You're gonna try to argue with me about a technology, you don't even know what it is? Are you serious? You're gonna try to quote mine me, and you don't have any understanding of any of the topics? It's like, that's like the easiest fucking debate shit in the world. Like, holy fuck. It's the easiest counter dunk of all time. Almost as easy as you bring up fucking Anna as an example of me being harassing against somebody. Jesus. I am retweeting this right now for no reason in particular. The left is getting worse at making arguments and it's making me very nervous. Rip. Maddie is still mad as fuck. Oh, is this fucking degenerate dipshit actually watching this? He's pretty forgetful about a lot of things, huh?
Anyway. Good one, Steven.
I don't really.
Oh, fucking got him.
You literally
got him.
Imagine having the audacity to show your face after you got caught red-handed. Oh God, it's so painful too because she tried to doctor the tweets using Photoshop when all you have to do is inspect element. My kid, I remember when Nathan was like 8, 7. He was showing me on Roblox, look, Dad, I found out how to get infinite money. And he was doing the inspect element modification of his like fucking currency or whatever. My like 7 or 8-year-old son was able to figure that shit out. And she's trying to use fucking Photoshop on a browser-based fucking DM. Oh my God. Like there's a guy out of frame.
He sure is forgetful.
Right off screen.
Oh my God.
To do this.
So good. Oh, nothing gets past
let's just
you,
have
you
the vote
fucking
done.
asshole.
Okay, so I want to be clear.
I should leak that audio. I think it's on my laptop. We said no recording, but you think I give a fuck? We have like a 30-minute conversation. She's like, oh yeah, I'm sorry for being toxic and blah, 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 blah. I know it's somewhere. I just have to go find it because of course I recorded that. What a spiteful dipshit piece of fucking shit. I can't believe her. Holy fuck, what a loser.
This vote was done by 3 independent judges.
Oh, I see. I won the hippy dippy roundtable thing or something, and I felt obligated to Dylan, you know.
Okay, and I appreciate it. I appreciate.
Yeah, I'm not saying I felt like I fucking had to do it. I'm just saying, like, you know, felt dumb not to do it.
Right, Fluff. Well, they were,
I
or
appreciate
they're
it.
like, well,
I appreciate you creating
if
the
these were
content
real
for it.
accounts, why is one gone? I'm like,
Now, whoever wins will.
Oh yeah, because she's still trying to pretend, because when she faked the DMs, one of the accounts that she faked the DMs didn't even exist because she changed the name. Somebody actually made the account, and she was able to make the account. Oh no.
Will be facing CTV.
first of all, don't know how I'd
for
know.
the belt since he won.
If
the
I could ask
undercard
the
tonight, he's the
person,
#1
hey,
challenger.
so what happened to
Now
that
I will
account?
say that this was
That
probably
message me, like,
the
I
most
would love to
frustrating
know.
debate to moderate.
I
No
don't
matter
know
who
how
wins,
the
I
fuck I'd
lose,
know.
Okay?
Yeah.
And they're like,
Why didn't you push on the G word thing? So I have to be really careful during these conversations because this is actually a really difficult conversation for me to navigate because optically, I already start off on the back foot because I'm defending like being mean to people. It already sounds like a shitty thing to do. Like, wait, what the fuck? Like, why are you defending like being an asshole to people, right? So I already start off like really optically behind. So when I'm attacking him or arguing with him, I don't think I can hold him super steadily to things or like very aggressively to things. Like, well, what about this? Do this. Because if I start getting aggressive, it feeds into the narrative that like, I am an asshole and I'm being an asshole. Fuck you, right? So I have to be like very calm. I have to try to like go for the wins by redirecting back to questions. And then if we don't answer the questions, I think my goal is to make the audience aware like, hey, I asked you this, you didn't want to answer, but we can move on if you want, rather than just letting it, because he was doing that thing where he holds my hand and he tries to walk me from door to door to door to door to door. And when they won't open, he wants to go somewhere else. So I have to point out that like, that was locked, that was locked, that was locked. But I think I have to do it in a really calm way. This is like the hardest debate topic for me to do because optically you always look like an asshole when you're trying to justify being an asshole, which I do, by the way. I literally like, I think you should be able to. If somebody is going to be an asshole to you first, then yeah, I think you should be able to be an asshole back. I will always defend that, but that is an unpopular position and most people don't like that. Most people don't like that defense, but that's just the time. That's the era of the internet I come from. I was born in '88. That's how it goes for me. I'm sorry. Oof, but that was like, it's a really difficult topic to do. He was just exceptionally stupid.
oh, fucking got him.
Without
It's
my
like,
influence. The first, no, it is a split decision on who won tonight.
like
These split decisions can be produced by a number of factors. It can be because people judge matches differently. It can be because certain people have undisclosed biases. It
yeah,
can be
women
any
don't
number of
receive
different
hate,
reasons.
or death threats ever.
So, the first
Which doesn't happen.
judge voted for Destiny. The second one voted for Jake. And
Yeah, I'll
the
be like,
last vote,
Destiny, if you get mad because people are
the
like
integral vote, the
calling you
hippie
names,
vote,
just block them.
What? Okay, but I do that. Am I able to publish my block list? Oh, my friend. Corn just read the Anifesto. I think it's actually so fucking disgusting that there are people that side with Anna just because they hate me so much. I'm blocking right now 448 accounts on my Twitter. Anytime I see somebody that says some crazy shit, where it's like, this guy's just gonna bait me on some shit, I just block. So yeah, I think that's a decent number of people blocked. Yeah. Dude, I block so many people so they don't get baited by stupid shit. I've been like actively trying to stay out of these dumb fuck accounts. I literally think all they try to do is bait you on Twitter. I don't even know if they believe in half the shit they say. It's just bait. So, yeah.
It's all identity, right?
Going.
Come on, Jake. Come on, Jake. It's gonna be Destiny. Yeah.
Who retains the belt as the third
She's actually like invested in the outcome of this.
defense of the belt. I think the third match for the belt.
Ew.
Breaking Vaush's record.
Ew.
Hell yeah, dude. Good job.
Gappy, you can come in here for the interview. Do one job. Don't mess it up. Swear to God, Gappy.
Well.
Oh my God, she was so invested in the outcome of this.
There he is.
Giving the
Gappy.
people what they want.
Okay, interviewee, post-match interview.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta do
Whoa.
this now?
What? Shocked.
Oh fuck. Well, it's been an interesting debate. And I think there was a lot of very interesting and unique discourse that came out, or very specific.
Interesting and unique discourse.
Destiny, how are you feeling now that you've won this debate?
It's just probably one of the crowning moments of my life.
Oh, he's so funny, you guys. This is why I give him all my money. He's just like so funny.
What do you plan on doing to celebrate?
He's just like
I'll probably
such a clever person.
Honest to God, pop open.
He's gonna say something funny.
Hop on my Twitter account and just be toxic all night long.
So you guys, he's referencing the conversation of being toxic.
How did this person? I was so friendly towards this person. I hosted them. I don't know if I met them in real life, but we like interacted in like real life political things. I was on panels with them. We chatted privately on Discord. We were like, I feel like I did everything right. We were chill. They just got into like these crazy lefty communities that fucking hate me. It's so crazy to me. Anna is a VIP in her chat. Yeah, like in Bad Bunny's chat too. That shit is wild.
So usually when someone expresses a negative opinion about what I say, I typically let it go because your opinion of me is your own business. But since I feel as if someone on this panel is taking personal shots at me in a public way, I'm going to respond in a way that I feel is equivalently appropriate. Mr. Jake, you have the heart of a cat. Small, insensitive, lacking in courage and bravery, which is probably why you laugh when someone is addressing you seriously. See, cats look very brave. When they're confronted with danger, they show their teeth and their fangs, but they're really scared, which is why they pretend to be bigger than they actually are. And that's not too unusual from how weak men behave when they're confronted with something bigger than them. They also pretend to be brave. But in reality, your laughter reflects a lack of self-reflection. But the part of me that still respects you, Jake, will try to edify you with this. If you care to change people's hearts, you really have to touch them, right? If you want to change people's minds, you have to touch their heart, because before a person cares about what you know, you have to convince them that you care about them. So if your response to things you don't understand is to merely say that's stupid, well, actual Jake, you will be relegated to a position of an actual flake all on your own.